Okay, the Dayton Conservation wishes to open its meeting at 7 PM at Old Town Hall, 1111 Somerset Avenue. This meeting is video and audio recorded for cable broadcast and internet posting on www.dayton-mass.gov and YouTube. Would everyone stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda is an address from myself, and this deals with the American chestnuts. There's currently over 100 trees that are now growing, and they will be planted around town, some on town property and some on personal property. If you think you have non-wetlands that open up to the forest and wish to be part of it, you can call the conservation office and give your name and telephone number and address. Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is review, discuss, act on minutes of previous meetings. We have before us Thursday, February 29th. Has everyone read those and wish to?
Motion to accept the minute.
Any comments from anybody?
I did notice, Lisa, do you know if we had a chance to amend the 229?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, yes, regarding the,
Two motions.
yes, yeah, exactly.
That's, I got that done.
Perfect, okay, that was my only condition, so I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Oh, that's,
Motion to approve the previous minutes.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Was there another, there weren't any others? Okay. Okay, next, review, discuss, act. It's a continued hearing. It's an NRED application by Dean Smith of New Leaf, Dayton Energy. A continuance request received by Dean Smith. They wish to continue it to 5/30/24.
Motion to continue to 5/30/24.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next was to review, discuss, act on a continued hearing, notice of intent application by Robert J. Russell III, 0 Horton Street, map 7, lot 36, for construction of a single-family house with septic system. Application withdrawn on 3/28 by applicant's request. Lisa, that's completely gone, so we won't see that anymore. Okay, is there a motion to accept the withdrawal?
Motion to accept the withdrawal.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye. Sorry.
Okay, review, discuss, act on a continued hearing, abbreviated notice of intent, notice called an NRAD from Cowrie Bell Farm Estates, seeking confirmation of wetland resources at 0 Milk Street, map 17, lots 109, 135, and 208. File number 17-489. Lisa, was there anything on that? Lisa?
Yeah, hi. All right, so I was just checking because we asked for continuance form. He has not sent that back, but you have the authority to continue. I will make sure we get that from him. However, he did send, Mr. Rebello did send an email, because it's been some time since we had heard back, so I reached out to his consultant. I guess the consultant was trying to communicate directly with Weston and Sampson, but that's not really how we do it. So, in any case, Mr. Rebello did express a few concerns on the phone, and then I asked him to put it in an email. So, I'll read the email dated April 17th to myself from Carl Rebello. Hi Lisa, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to discuss the scheduling of site visit between our team and Weston and Sampson to review the vernal pool locations that are in question. It's crucial that we expedite this process to ensure we do not miss the best evaluation period for clarifying the vernal pool locations. Although my engineers are still in the process of updating the plan, it may take a few more weeks before it's ready for submission. However, I believe it's essential for Weston and Sampson to meet with our environmental engineers at the earliest opportunity. Please let me know the availability of Weston and Sampson for a meeting, and also provide details regarding any additional costs associated with this visit. I am prepared to submit payment promptly. Here is the direct contact to my engineer. He will be in person to meet with Weston and Sampson. Please contact me if you have any questions.
Okay, when Weston and Sampson gives them their pricing, I would like you to forward it directly to them, and we don't need any special vote on that on the amount. Just whatever it is, forward it, and we'll continue the hearing until next month.
Okay, did you want to have any discussion by the committee?
I don't know, do you have any discussion on,
No, you gotta.
Dave?
No, I
Paul?
don't have anything.
Okay, so then let us continue that. Is there a motion to continue it to, was it May
30th.
May 30th?
Motion to continue the NRAD on Milk Street for Carl Rebello till 5/30/2024.
I'll second, but I'd like to discuss it prior to the vote.
Certainly.
So, now that it's been made and seconded, this has been kind of dragging on for some time, and we've had some very poor responsiveness from the applicant, with a lot of continuances coming at the 11th hour. So I just want to clarify from a process standpoint how this would work and what we would do. So now, we'll be sending a quote request to Weston and Sampson, and
Okay, Lisa will forward the amount to the engineer and to Carl Rebello. And if they pay, they'll get their review. If they don't, then we'll have the option, because if they don't pay it, we have the right to deny the project for their lack of action for the 53G.
okay, so Lisa will be able to forward that to the applicant, receive payment, and then by the time of our next meeting, we will have something to review.
It seems like that would work.
Hope so. Megan, can I put you on the spot? Do you think your schedule would allow that? I mean, that's like 5 weeks.
I think depending on when we figure it out,
Yeah.
and it's accepted, potentially, yes.
Okay, yeah. All right, so were you weren't copied on this email? I can give you a copy if you would like.
I think I was.
Well, I know there was another email that just came in a little while ago. I did not read that one. That was from his engineer.
Oh, then maybe I'll take that.
Yeah, it was just reiterating.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. We already had discussion. If there's any more discussion? Okay, all in favor to continue it to May 30th?
Aye.
Okay, next we have a review, discuss, act on a continued hearing from Ahmed Hafton of Grasshopper Energy, Brook Street. This is tabled to an uncertain date, abutters need to get re-notified. Lisa, have you heard anything from them?
No, hold on.
This uncertain date is,
I do know they may be withdrawing this. In a discussion with the Stormwater Committee yesterday, they are redesigning their basins all within the existing footprint of the limit of the project, but they're redesigning them based on some feedback they got from Weston and Sampson through the Stormwater Committee.
okay,
So, I did say that it would be helpful if, when you wanted to come to the Conservation Commission with the change, if we could just do all the changes at once. But I think they might be withdrawing their change request on the tree removal, but don't know.
Okay, so, so they're still looking for a tabling of it. If you request that they give us information before the next meeting, we're not gonna drag this out forever, because they too have been, well, on our part, they've been negligent on the Weston and Sampson, but if they're dealing with them in another vein, that would work for both parties, Stormwater and us.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to table to an uncertain date, to continue tabling it?
Yep, motion to table to a date uncertain, abutters must be re-notified.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, review, discuss, act on a continued hearing, abbreviated notice of area delineation, application by Alexander Ribeiro seeking confirmation of wetland resources at 0 Tiger Lily Road, map 2, lots 4-5, file number SC 17-495. Phase 2 scope of peer review services received by Weston and Sampson in the amount of $4,720. Okay, you are here to,
So Greg Driscoll from JDE Civil, representing Alex Ribeiro.
again, please?
Greg Driscoll of JDE Civil, representing Alex Ribeiro here for 0 Tiger Lily Lane. And
Okay. You're gonna present the plan, correct?
Yep.
Now, this plan that you're presenting, is it, without the scope of phase 2?
Right. It's just responding to phase 1 review by Weston. Weston is actually here, Megan is here, the wetland scientist, to actually do her. I don't know if it makes sense to have her do hers first. Whatever you guys want.
Okay, 1, 2, okay. Oh, wait, you and Jack and,
No, he's got it up
Okay.
there.
Okay, here's time, okay, they're up here. Okay, we're ready.
all right, so do we want to have Weston and Sampson present what their findings are so far? Or
Does that
how
make
do you
the
wanna do
most
this?
sense, Megan? Because you've only reviewed the first. They're ready to present new information now, so.
Whatever's easiest.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
recap of phase 1 might be beneficial before
Yeah.
we start going to phase 2.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if you agree.
Wait, Phase 2 has not gone
Phase
to...
step 2 has not started, but they want to present the additional information that they found for the phase 2 review, so I
Okay,
think
but
it's smart.
payment of that phase 2 review has not been made?
Correct.
Okay, all right,
But we have not had Weston do they submitted their report, but you guys have not heard the report.
Okay.
Yeah, Megan, would you mind?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yes, why don't you come up then and,
Let me just pull up, I have a presentation. Quick presentation. All right, so good evening. My name is Megan Kearns. I'm a wetland scientist with Weston and Sampson, and I'm just going to briefly go over our findings of the 0 Tiger Lily ANRAD. Just to recap, this is the project site, circled in red right here. It's a USGS topographic map. Zooming in a little bit more on a Mass GIS map. There are no natural heritage mapped habitats here. I will note the site is located in an outstanding resource water. These were the materials received that we reviewed for round 1, which included the ANRAD application, the existing conditions survey, the Mass DEP Zero notification email, and proof of certified abutter mailings. So the main technical comments from round one included that the applicant should provide wetland determination data forms for each wetland on site. We also just noted, like I mentioned before, the site is located in an outstanding resource water, an ORW. And just to quickly go through the BBW series on site, BBWA, Weston and Sampson was in agreement with this. BBWB, we are also in agreement. We just wanted to note that there were some wood frogs observed and some egg masses in this wetland, and that it should be assessed further. And BBW C and D series, we were in agreement with those as well. So there was some additional correspondence after the fact. The applicant did provide some wetland delineation data forms and updated the existing conditions plans with some vernal pool boundaries and some changes to some colored lines on the plans as well for clarity. So just to quickly recap, data forms were provided. However, we recommend that data forms for every wetland delineated be provided. Only one set was provided, and it was unclear which wetland that was provided for. All intermittent streams within 200 feet should also be delineated. There was some back and forth. We recommend a site visit to confirm the presence of the streams, but defer to the commission as those streams are not on this property. The potential vernal pool limits and the associated buffers were added to the plans, so no further comments there. And the existing conditions plan's been updated with that symbology, so no further comments there. And that is it briefly.
Did you have any photos or not for that? Or?
I didn't put them in this PowerPoint, no, but I have them in our memo if, sorry.
That's okay. Could you just pass them around for the guys or?
Sure.
Awesome.
If you want to take a quick look. And on the next page too, there's some additional photos. To show some of the egg masses that were observed.
Big mass photos
Yep.
on that page and the following page.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Megan? Paul, Jack, any questions for Megan? No. Okay, then,
Anyone else have any questions?
even in the audience have questions for Megan? Okay, Greg, is it? Okay, why don't,
Thanks, Megan.
All right, so we did submit a response to comments letter addressing all the comments that were in the letter from Weston and Sampson. I can go through that. I don't know if you guys have copies. I didn't bring extra copies.
Let me see it. I know I emailed it to you guys. Well, I should have if I did.
no, didn't make it in the packet.
Yeah. I have it. Oh, I put it back in here. It's right here. Do you want to just read it for for the record?
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
All right, so our response to the first comment reads, ANRAD notes that Mass DEP Board of British Columbia Wetland Field data forms were collected during the
Wait a
delineation.
minute, slow down, please.
So the first comment is requesting the field data forms.
Okay.
And our response is that we submitted the revised wetland delineation memo with the wetland determination field forms to the commission on April 3rd. The second comment, wetland delineation report that is attached to the ANRAD application notes that the site is not located within a CEC or NSGSP mapped habitat for rare species. WC would like to note that the site is located within outstanding mapped ORW, for public water supply watershed associated with the Somerset Reservoir. However, this does not impact the ANRAD application. WSC recommends that any intermittent streams located within 200 feet of the subject property be flagged and depicted on the existing conditions plan to show any applicable buffer zones. Our response to that is that intermittent streams within 200 feet of the subject property have been located and shown on the revised plan. This has not been reviewed since that.
So
Let's go.
this, yeah, so the set of plans they have before them right now are dated through, well, we have two sets. We have a set dated through 3/28 and then a set dated through 4/11. So we should look at the 4/11.
Oh, actually, this is the 328.
Yeah.
And the 411 one is 2 sheets, as I have on the board here.
So actually a driveway in here. Right down here. You're not gonna go back here because you got undisturbed buffer, no touch, no build zone, no build. This would be the only place right here.
So the botanist, Brad Holmes, went out and first delineated the potential vernal pools. That was the 328 revision, and then delineated the intermittent streams. That's
Could you just point out where the vernal pool is on there?
Yeah, the vernal pool is right up here.
Okay,
100-foot buffer for the PVPs right here.
Should be 200.
yeah. From the high water,
Yeah. And then intermittent stream.
I don't see a 200-foot
So
PVP on it.
your 100-foot buffer, speaking of first step, your 100-foot buffer is your 200-foot line, because you guys consider the vernal pool itself as 100, and then from there, it's another 100.
another.
Right, but you're gonna add the other line.
This is the other line.
Yeah,
That's
the blue line, kind of halfway in between, says limited vernal pool, and HW plus 100 feet.
So the blue line is your
So the
original
only
100.
place they could build a house is right here.
Yeah, so this is the edge of the vernal pool based on the.
Okay, so that's right here, and then
And then
the.
where's-
Yeah, so this is
Yeah,
the first
this
one.
is
Well,
the
that
first
is-
one,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
this is the second.
This is the vernal pool.
You guys consider the vernal pool as 100?
Yep.
So they just need to
Got it.
enable that.
You want to call it 200?
Wow.
The way the
Yeah.
bylaw reads,
Yeah,
it's kind of like in Easton, they do the same thing.
Okay.
where you flag
Okay,
it
so
up,
that's
but
100
it's
from the
considered-
high water mark, that's the
Gotcha.
100 high water mark, and this is the 100 from
Yeah,
the
I was
high
confused.
water. Okay, I understand what you did.
PVP, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the other page, I don't think we have here, shows, this is not your screen.
So this is the, that's the inland bank,
Okay.
here. And then the other inland bank on the other side of the potential vernal pool. We have a second sheet here showing that it's 251 feet away from the edge of the property.
Okay. So
And
Lisa,
they didn't find any streams within the CC areas or?
okay, that's,
No.
I guess that's good for them. Okay, so this here would be the main,
I don't know, let's hear them out.
yeah, okay. So where is your location for,
Well, we don't have to know about that right now.
no,
For the house,
I
yeah,
can answer it.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
for,
Oh, okay.
For NOI,
We
let's
really
yeah.
don't want
yeah, okay, all right.
But yeah, we have the areas in the back where we were initially looking at putting a house. All those buffers and everything are defined now, so now we know where we're boxed in for septic system in the house and all that.
Okay,
Yeah, which was the intended purpose of this.
yeah,
Right.
this is a not very unusual site.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on.
I didn't expect everything around it to kind of buffer in.
So we did get a peer review estimate here. So you guys have all had a chance to look at the estimate from Weston?
Yeah,
The page.
it was identical, I think, for the first one. Yes, it was 720.
Okay, but now with this new revised plan, would that be necessary for Weston to come into phase two?
Well, that's up to you guys. So I have had a long conversation on the phone with Mr. Rivero, and then I met with him to look at kind of, he wants to perk as soon as possible, so he knows if he should move forward. So in order to let him do that, we kind of, I would like to go to the site anyway, so I think he was gonna ask if you guys would be willing to waive phase two and let me handle it. I told him the only way I would do that is if Brad Holmes, the wetland scientist, was present with me, because I'm unfamiliar with the site, so it's,
So
takes less time if someone else goes.
I guess my question is, before I go, I'd rather not spend another $5,000
I understand.
and then find out I can't even build a lot because it doesn't perk for some god awful reason. So I would like permission to at least get in there, stay away from the wetlands now that they're delineated. I can go in there and perk different areas of the property with making minimal mess. And again, I do this for a living, so I understand the wetlands and what we can and cannot do. I'd like to at least be able to get in, perk, try to perk. I don't know how much perking I will be able to do done in a little box with a bunch of ledge for my original intent, but obviously we can come out to the front, we have room. So my question is,
This here.
can we waive the secondary review in order for me to perk, or in order for me to go try and do a perk test?
Now, Lisa, what is your comfort level in, with us, if we were to waive phase two and have you do a site visit in consultation with the wetland scientist? What is your degree of comfort with that? You feel okay about
Pretty
it?
comfortable, yeah. I mean, I've met, Brad on other sites and reviewed lines with him. So, yeah, I mean, one step at a time. We're not ready to talk about the perk yet, but I am comfortable as long as it can be done in the next couple weeks. I mean, assuming, I don't think he wants to wait until May 30th.
Yeah.
No, this area here, and okay, this is what, the 100 here, 100 here,
Yeah.
and this, what is this yellow one?
We talk about access too for the perk. 50 foot, that's a 50 foot. So he'd be traveling through the 50 foot and even as close as a 25 in some areas to get through.
So this would be a goal up here then, and not here.
How close can the
Can
septic be?
I go up and look at where you're putting it?
Yeah,
How close can the septic be to the property line?
this certainly here seems to be the best area, but there was also indications that you wanted to go further back.
Originally, I'd like to put the house here and sit it in here. However, I'm not sure. Greg has brought to my attention of where the septic would be now that you only have an area this big to put it in,
Well,
with having some ledge.
you wouldn't even, here's 100
Oh, I'm
foot
sorry.
here, so you wouldn't even, so it would have to be in here.
Nope, that's the 100 foot.
That's the foot this way.
Oh, from
So-
that,
so it's
that
the
way,
way it's-
okay,
yeah.
all right.
I wish it was the opposite way around.
Right there.
But that's
Can you stake that area for him, for the perk?
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
I jump out there.
No, I feel more comfortable to see it myself.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna approve the perk, I would like to have it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're looking for a perk here,
Yep. And
and
then
that's the only place really?
back there or back up front, we were just mentioning.
Well,
That's-
yeah, this would,
Well, so I,
but this here is already out because of you got,
Yeah.
yes.
what is it, 100 here, and what's this
Yeah,
again?
that's in the 100.
Oh, and that's the no build, so, okay, that's
So
100.
The 50, the 25 is
All
the
right.
build, the 50, and then you have the 100, so the house would sit here if possible. And then the septic would sit just in this box back here, which the leach and field would sit back here.
He knows he has to put on those for
Yes.
the house.
I understand all that, I'm just trying to give you an example, and if that doesn't work, I move everything to the front and just do it up front.
I'd answer your question.
Big difference.
Tell me,
But it's,
whatever you guys,
Yeah.
whatever I'm allowed to do is what I'm allowed to do.
okay, I'm gonna circle, this gonna be our map here?
Yeah, that's
Okay, so
what
I'm just gonna circle this area here then.
I highlighted one set, but I think that was
Okay,
the old-
so that is one possible area, that, only that area.
Actually,
And,
it's right here.
no, you gotta, oh, I did the wrong place?
Yeah,
Oh, God, okay.
it's all right.
We put a star in that one.
So,
No.
as far as getting
Okay.
back there, I'm very comfortable, I can get back here clean without making a mess or touching the no-touch zone.
Okay, and so the other area would be
I'll let Greg tell you that part.
in here, that would be a
It would have to
possibility.
be, outside the hundreds, would have to
Oh, this is the 100 from where?
be from that.
Oh, from here, so it would be over here somewhere.
Yeah,
So the house would be here then,
yeah, that's the alternative.
okay.
So those pinch points, it would be really critical, I think, for the part, if you were to mark, like, you know, areas. that-
Yeah, the access area.
Yeah, exactly, so that you knew, you know, to stay inside,
Yeah.
I know he
Mark
can
the bullets on
do
top
it.
right there, so we can.
but, you know, things
So
happen.
this is the other area
you know.
here then, right?
Yep.
Okay. Big difference.
Very, very.
But what's that, 300 feet anyway? About 300, 400? Okay.
So I guess the question is, if you guys were to waive the Western review and let me finish reviewing it, then would you guys feel comfortable with me allowing him to go in and perk without filing another application with us?
I would be, I trust your judgment, and, now what kind of equipment would you go back in there with?
It's probably gonna be a 20,000-pound excavator, little mini, like a little bigger than a mini.
Okay, so you wouldn't be busting through all kinds of trees? Okay,
What's like the largest DBH tree that you have out there? Is it? It's
In the path of where the machine will be going,
small.
off the top of my head, it's gotta be 6, 8 inches, not even. Nothing that I'm gonna drastically knock down. I'll make a small footprint. I think the biggest issue, the biggest thing that you're gonna notice is when I come in, it's a drop off the road, so I'll have to get myself in. Once I get myself in, it's very
With
cut
what,
forward.
swamp mats or something? What kind
No,
of?
I'll just bucket the machine in, it's not a big deal.
Jack, do you have anything to say?
Well, I mean, out front, this is all his area anyway, so he can do what he has to do to get in there. You know what I'm saying? 20,000-pound machine, you know, standard tracks, are they a little
Yeah,
bit?
rubber tracks.
I mean, you know, he's not gonna have a real heavy footprint.
Okay, as long as it didn't just rain 4 inches.
Well, no.
It's on ledge there, but
Yeah, first of all, it's on ledge. That whole area is ledge, you know. I mean, he's gonna, maybe a humus pocket, but you can dress that up on the way out.
if you're comfortable, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
mean, it's,
so,
So based on site conditions, I think this one would make sense.
yeah,
You know, it's not a huge lot or anything.
Right.
but- And based on the fact that, you know, we're only looking at, there won't be, I won't have to review all the, Megan's
Yeah.
already done the bulk of it.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
only have the 2 areas, so.
okay, so you'll mark off the entrance that the vehicle would take, and then the site where the perk, whether you do 1 or 2 back there, I don't know if there'd be room for even 2 back there. But, and so if that one doesn't work, then you'd have to go to this one here, and hopefully if that would work if the other one doesn't. Okay, so your request then, is to permit, without going to phase 2, you wish to do perk tests in those 2 designated areas?
Yes, and can I request one more thing?
Well, actually, Actually, he's requesting that I review phase 2 of it
Okay,
before the next meeting.
And issue a sign off for the perk test?
Yeah.
And then I was gonna
And
ask if we
something
could have, after she gives the go-ahead, well, if she's gonna do the protest, we don't need a secondary review before the next meeting. I was gonna
She'll be
ask-
doing- she-
she'll be
she
doing-
said
yeah,
she would
that
do a
makes sense.
second.
All right, yeah, sorry.
okay, so if this goes through here with this vote, you would have probably everything done before our next meeting. In other words, you would have the perk test done,
Maybe, depends on the availability of Board of Health. We haven't engaged with them yet, because we need to get, this taken care of before.
okay,
Even
so,
file the perk app, so. Actually, I
okay,
think we did file the perk app, and it's been on hold, so it's.
Yeah, you did.
okay, Lisa, how would you like this motion to abandon, no, we're not
You're gonna
gonna abandon
continue.
phase 2.
Would this be a
You're gonna
motion to
continue.
allow the conservation agent to conduct phase 2 of the review and then
Yeah.
issue subsequent approval for a perk test?
Is that your motion?
Yeah,
So moved.
and continue.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, before, is there any discussion out in the audience? Okay, any discussion? Well, I should ask for here first. All in
I mean,
favor?
it's, he's got access, he can do whatever he wants out front. That's not our jurisdiction.
Well, yeah, real close. But
Well,
out
no,
back it is.
I mean, all out front here, Jim, first of all, he's on 2 roadways, and
Yeah,
it's all uplands.
yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing we got is once he goes past 100 foot to get out back.
That is one thing to consider, because with the Wetlands Protection Act, avoidance is the first, if you can avoid, a wetland and avoid any
Well,
disturbance, then you really are obligated to use that area. So when it comes to the notice of
no, he's
intent,
not going through any wetlands, am I correct?
Yeah, we're not directly disturbing anything, so we'll be in the
Right.
buffers.
He'll be in the buffer zone.
minimize,
Yeah.
avoidance and then minimization, so. I mean, preferable, we would love you to just stay at the front is what we're trying to say, but we're working with you on this.
I appreciate it. I bought the lot to build up back. And the last thing, so when I bought the lot, and I'll be honest with you guys here, when I bought the lot, it came with a plan from '08. The plan shows approved perk test. The approved perk test is right where the wetland is. So that wetland was man-made by an excavator bucket with a pipe that's running right through it. So it's just been water been sitting there that long due to the development of the neighborhood that it over time became wetlands. So what I didn't realize was I noticed that after buying the property. So, which brings me fast forward to now, here we are. So,
Okay, motion was made and seconded, no other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you,
Okay.
guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Can I have these back?
That's the,
Yeah, I got a schedule for Brad Holmes, so you gotta tell me which days that, you look at the weather. Whoever wants to go, anyone wants to go,
now wait a Brad Holmes, he's,
he's the wetland scientist. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Can I see this back?
Yes. No, okay, go ahead.
Want to- Lisa,
Please do you want
want that one back?
here?
Do you wanna keep it in the car? Yeah.
No, I've looked through some of it already.
All right, moving on.
Okay, next is review, discuss, act on a continued hearing, notice of intent from Junior DeLima for construction of a single-family home, utility septic system driveway, and proposed grading at 418 Hot Street, map 20, lot 95. A portion of the project falls within the buffer zone of jurisdictional wetland resources under the local bylaw. Plan sent to DEP Director Tom Ferry for input. There's no DEP file number because this is the local jurisdiction bylaw. Is anyone here to Junior DeLima?
They requested a continuance, they sent the form today.
Yeah, yeah, but you also have to back up and continue, you have to vote to continue the last one.
So this is going to be continued?
Tiger Lily, Tiger Lily, the one we just did, needs to be continued to 5:30.
Oh,
Okay.
motion to continue the, aerial application for Alexander Rivero seeking confirmation of wetland resources of Tiger Lily, map 2 lot 4-5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Junior DeLima, DeLima.
Motion to continue notice of intent for 418 Hart Street to 5/30/24.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm having her get a continuance form signed.
Okay, review, discuss, act on a continued hearing, abbreviated notice of resource area delineation applicant by David Butler, seeking confirmation of wetland resources at 833 William Street, map 8, lot 20, file number 17-499, scope of peer review services received by Weston and Sampson Incorporated in the amount of $4,720.
Lisa, are we looking for a motion to accept the peer review quote? Motion to accept the peer review quote for 833 Williams Street, map 8, lot 20, from Weston and Sampson, the amount of $4,720.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, review, discuss, act on a new hearing, notice of intent application by NEPCO for completion of transmission line refurbishment work on the 315 and 327 lines, starting under the previous OOC DEP file number 17-435. The work falls within the regulated wetland resource area. Lisa, what is that? That's just more of a notice to us?
I think they're actually here for that one.
I didn't see anyone jump up and,
Where's that, come and go to? Where's it start and where's that end?
Oh, sure, yeah, I can,
Well, I mean, I might have to recuse myself. I
Understood.
wanna
Yep.
find out.
okay. All right, so,
Have to for the next one, but I don't know about that one.
yeah. So this right-of-way starts, let's see. Basically, let's see, it crosses, looks like Route 44, County Street, Wellington Street. I can give you,
I'm all right with that one.
from the, you have to recuse yourself?
No, the next one, no, I
You're
have
on
to.
the U.
Yeah,
Okay.
Berkeley to Bergline. This one, I'm okay.
Okay, great. Good evening, my name's Allison Milliman. I'm with BSC Group on behalf of the applicant, New England Power Company. As Lisa mentioned, this project was reviewed and approved by the Dayton Conservation Commission in 2020, the fall of 2020. Due to delays and that work not expecting, it's a 75-mile refurbishment of a transmission line. So they kind of got delayed. They didn't get into the town of Dayton until 2022 when they started doing the replacement structure work. So our order actually expired last fall. Unbeknownst to me, so I reached out to Lisa, and because they're still finishing up some of the restoration work, they're pulling the temporary construction mats from wetlands right now, and they're also planning to construct the wetland replication area that was permitted under the original notice of intent. She recommended that I come before you and request a new order of conditions to close the project out and finish up the what's left of the remaining activities. But those of you in town have probably noticed that the old wood structures have all been replaced with the steel structures
Yeah.
along this line. That they needed to do their cleanup. They need to remove the old poles and pull the temporary construction mats and do their replication area. So that's why I'm before you tonight.
Okay. Lisa, do you have any input?
Yeah, so have you guys been keeping up with the erosion controls and everything's intact and?
Yes, we have full-time, BSC's out there full-time with the contractors, and providing oversight from environmental compliance. We did have one situation where we were continuously blocking off a wetland, but it just keeps getting impacted by ATVs. We've put up basically caution tape to try and keep, that activity out of the wetland. I have photos of that, but as far as the project-related activities, yes, they're in restoration mode right now, so we're just creating punch list items for them to,
Yeah.
throw wetland seed down and stabilize when they
So
remove
we
the
definitely
mats.
want them to continue with that.
Yeah.
Just, I'm thinking about the paperwork that's involved, so whether or not I can use the old order for the rest of the project. I don't see why I can't, and then just, create the new top pages and then just attach that.
Lisa, would you recommend approval with conditions?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if there's anyone that has.
Anyone in the audience have any questions about this transmission line?
I think this affects me. I don't.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
But maybe.
Okay, want to go to the podium, please, so the mic can pick you up.
We received an abutters letter.
Your name and address, please?
Elaine O'Connell, 2410 Maynard Lane. And I don't know if it was from your company. I'm assuming it has to do with this one, but we're just concerned what you're going to be doing. Are we gonna be the right of way again for?
So the majority of that work is complete, so I'm here just to request approval for them to finish that work.
Their permit from us expired,
That's
Okay.
so this is, yeah.
Oh, so that's why we're getting, okay, because we obviously didn't live here when the first one came out,
okay.
so
Yeah.
I just know we've had trucks constantly for the past 2.5 years, so it's like,
It's a great project, yeah.
and
But
it's a
they're
small
finishing
street, so it's like,
Finishing
Yeah.
up within the
Okay,
next
thank you.
year?
okay, so,
Well, the last structure is going in this week, so
Okay.
right now it's really just making sure the overhead
Nice.
work is done. I think you're gonna start
Okay.
seeing it
I'll be
paper way down.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, do we have a motion to issue a new order of conditions to supplement the expired one?
Motion to issue a new order of conditions to supplement the expired.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Allison, I'll send that to you, or do you want to send someone to pick it up?
Do you mind sending it to me, please?
I'll send it to you, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Lisa, before I leave, do you want the green cards?
Yeah, we need those. Should they paid, right?
Yeah.
You can just give them, yeah. Thank you.
okay, next is review and discuss and act on a new hearing, a notice of intent application, again by NEPCO for V5, U6, and S8 115 kilovolt transmission line. Is this,
that the presenter for this?
You here for that? Are you
No,
there for
she's
the next
not.
section?
No, she's not. It's VHB, and they actually requested a continuance, because what happened, just so everybody who's here for that item.
okay, this is a transmission line condition refurbishment project. The transmission line runs from Dayton Berkeley Town line through to the Dayton Swansea Town line. And they've asked for a continuance, you said?
Yeah, and the reason for the continuance is some of their butters notices went out late, and they didn't even go out until this week, so they're continuing to May 30th as well.
Okay.
Motion to continue to 5/30/24.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Maureen, could you please make sure that the minutes reflect that Jack recused himself?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I didn't,
Review, discuss, act on a new hearing, notice of intent application from Andrew Dyer, 192 Cherry Street, map 25, lot 88, seeking to construct a single-family house and septic system with associated grading. The work falls within regulated wetland resource area 17-497.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, for everyone, this is a little bit north of the boat ramp. Is this an empty lot, Lisa?
No, there's a building on it.
Okay, so.
It's a redevelopment, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so this is, are you going to knock down the old building and how's that gonna be?
yes, we are, we're taking down the
Okay. Because when I went online, I did see a building there and I'm saying, and it says new construction, okay.
There's a building there, a house there, small house, and there's two sheds all coming down, cleaning it up.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Scott Farrier from Holmgren Engineering, representing Drew Dyer. Drew owns the property you see before you at 192 Cherry Street. As you guys know, that whole area is well under the flood zone, the coastal flood zone. The elevation is at elevation 15 in that area. This lot is at elevation 9 and below. Besides being in the flood zone, we don't have any wetland resource areas where we're in the buffer zone. There is a wetland across the street where the 100-foot buffer zone just barely catches our front lot corner, and then the 200-foot riparian zone from the Taunton River doesn't even get over to Cherry Street, so we're well outside of all of those buffer zones. So we're basically before you because it's in the velocity flood zone.
Will you have to raise the house up X number of feet?
Yeah,
Okay.
the house
You
is
said
gonna be
9
up
feet?
above.
Was it 9 feet you said?
It's, the flood elevation is 15 and the lot's at right around elevation 9 or 10, so it's about
Okay,
5
so you
feet.
have to go up
Yes.
5, 6 feet, whatever it is.
Exactly, exactly. And it'll be a flood compliant structure once we go through the building permit process, just to ensure that we meet all FEMA regulations at that point.
And the septic system, is it going to be a conventional or would it be the?
It's a conventional septic system.
Okay.
Yes. Right up in the front, perk tests were conducted. It's good soil, a small septic system, but right up in the front.
Is it outside the 100-foot buffer zone?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Yep. Everything's outside the buffer, both the 100-foot and the 200-foot riparian.
My only question is like stormwater from the roof. You doing like a dry well or anything, or?
We will, I didn't have them on the plan, but we should propose, some dry wells in the back of the house away from the septic system, but we'll certainly put them in the back of the house to handle the roof runoff.
And it's relatively flat, but do you think you need any erosion controls, or?
I mean, we're so far away, but he's got money to spend. We can put some erosion control around that front corner, around the septic system for sure.
Yeah, I mean, only if you think, in a storm, it's gonna go that way. Just whatever makes, you've done.
Put it down in the corner.
Yeah,
Okay.
right in that lower corner along Cherry Street.
Right.
Yep. And it'll protect Cherry Street as well
Yeah.
when we get a rain event.
Okay, Lisa, this would be in the order of conditions, the dry wells for the roof,
As well as
storm
erosion control.
erosion control and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I do not have any further questions.
No, this looks fairly straightforward to me.
And Dave, you have any?
Nope,
Okay.
been out there a couple times.
Okay, yes, I've been there many. Okay, is there a motion?
I Propose motion to approve the notice of intent for 192 Cherry Street, map 25, lot 88, subject to conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I have 21 days to issue those, Scott, you know, so hopefully I'll get them done next week, but it might be the week after.
That's fine, thank you.
Okay,
Got it.
so you're,
Okay, thank
okay,
you,
so
folks.
your map and then the order of conditions, which will have those items recorded in it.
Sure, thank you.
This was the fastest one so far tonight.
And she even has your check.
I have a check to return to you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
No problem. Take it easy.
Wait, Maureen, do I get a check too?
I wish I had a check for everyone.
You don't even have cupcakes. Whatever. Take care.
Okay, review, discuss, act to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and not transfer available funds from the funds of $30,000 to be expended by the Conservation Commission for legal and related expenses regarding complaints filed against the Conservation Commission, the town of Dayton, and/or relevant town officials or taking any action thereof. This is a warrant item that we're looking to put on to cushion, because we've had a couple rejections, and we're looking to protect the town with legal action.
Yes, so the Board of Selectmen have a strict policy that we're not to discuss the specifics of any particular action, but since there have been a couple of actions that there might need to be legal expenses appropriated for, this would be a sample warrant article to request funds at annual town meeting. And Mr. Chairman, I believe that you've got some input from the audience if you're amenable.
Mr. Chairman?
Podium, please.
To the podium.
Oh, thank you. I noticed this vote being taken, and I have a question. The deadline for submittal of warrant articles was April 10th. Did you request a placeholder with Mr. Mullen?
Mr. Mullen has been involved in helping us to craft the specifics of the language. He pointed me towards similar warrant articles in the past.
Okay.
And the selectmen are going to be reopening the warrant for this upcoming Wednesday to allow a couple of last-minute inclusions.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Very good.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay. Anyone? Okay, is there a motion to put this item on the warrant?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to propose a motion to request that the Board of Selectmen add to the annual town meeting warrant a warrant article worded to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and/or transfer from available funds the sum of $30,000 to be expended by the Conservation Commission for legal and related expenses regarding complaints filed against the Conservation Commission, the town of Dayton, and/or relevant town officials, or take any action relative thereto.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item, 14 Morris Lane, I believe there's no one here from there. Last night's meeting with the planning board had I'm going to say, a temporary fix. Well, it really is not a fix, but because of water on their property, Jim Aguirre is dealing with Tom Ferry about the drainage in that area, and he's going to see if the drainage, if a drainage correction can solve the problem. So right now, we are not needed at this time, maybe next month. But it wouldn't hurt us to anyone to go out there to take a look for ourselves, the water situation and the drainage. As Jim had said, that it might just be clogged street drains, whether they are town operated or whether they are in the development itself.
Yeah, and I have old photos of the site previously, so
Is
Now,
there water then?
no,
Okay, so then that, I mean, I know we've had 15 inches of rain since March 1st. Tremendous amount of rain. That is probably 5 times what we normally get. And is that the reason? I don't know, but,
yeah, they're
well,
welcome to come in and discuss it with us in the future, though. I think I'm gonna
no,
recommend.
we don't have to continue this or anything, I assume.
No.
Okay.
No, I think I'm gonna recommend, though, the next 1, 2, 3 items be put off till we're done with the folks that are in the meeting, so that we can have some time to ourselves to or, doesn't have to be behind, of course, behind closed doors or anything like that, but I'm just saying, so we can have extra time, and we're not holding anybody up.
Okay, so the next 3 items on the agenda, the bylaw change, possible bylaw change, peer review policy with Weston and Sampson, and the letter to the building to accompany a building permit requested to be added to the permit. That will be changed to the end of our meeting. Is there a motion to delay those items?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to propose a motion to delay the review, discuss, act for Dayton Conservation Commission bylaw change to after the peer review policy issued by Weston and Sampson and the Conservation Commission letter to accompany the building permit requested to be update until the conclusion of other business on the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have bills payable. Now, you, Paul, you've taken care of a lot of these?
Yep.
Okay, we'll make it official that the bills payable will be paid, and if you want to make a motion.
I'd like to propose a motion to approve the payroll and vendor expenses incurred since our last meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I don't think we have to read each one of them off. A draft memo regarding procedure of the conservation agent reviewing perk test locations.
Lisa, do you want to move that as well? That item?
Yeah.
I'd like to propose that we add that to the 3 aforementioned items that will be taken at the end of the meeting.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Lisa, you have updates for us?
Yeah, so we did conduct a site visit for 2371 County Street, and Mr. Enos and his attorney and his consultant are here. We actually conducted that site visit on April 3rd, 2024. We were handed an existing conditions plan, and since I have requested that we receive a restoration plan, I believe that's what Mr. D'Souza is here to present. So I know an email came a few minutes before the meeting, but I'm not that person that can just look at it and be ready. But yeah, why don't you present that to us? That's good. Thank you.
You want a small version or a large version?
I printed the small one on the fly. How was your trip, by the way?
Thank you.
Very exhausting, actually.
I can
came
imagine.
back with about noontime.
I'm very surprised that you're here, actually.
Well, I had a choice between a red eye or leaving early in the morning, so I wasn't about to do the red eye.
Well, dedication.
Evening. So, as per the out-of-site visit that we had out there, we went through and we had finished up the plans. I know that the plan that I handed to Lisa at the site at that time was basically a survey, a working plan that we had while we were working out the mitigation for it. All the areas shown on sheet number 1. It's got the 2 wetland lines on there. It's got the embankment on the back side of the house. Shows the edge of the asphalt up on the roadway coming in. It's got all the grading, and as you can see, it's a very steep grade on the backside. That grade was formulated over time by both the construction of the railroad and also some of the fill that occurred on the property. There is some rubbish and other material out there on the slope that will have to get removed. And also, when we went to go do the flagging out there, the soils, they really do not, they are not classified as a hydraulic soil, but an upland soil. But the wetland vegetation that's out there is basically recurred from the impoundment of the water. The water is actually plugged up on the downhill side of the railroad track. That's probably another 800 feet or so downstream from there, which I believe if that impoundment were removed, the water would be alleviated and there would be no wetland vegetation out there. But right now, there is some wetland vegetation and some impoundment of water. So on that, as I had spoken out there on site, we are looking, if you flip to sheet number 2, you'll see towards the north side of the property. And if you look at the mitigation plan on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see almost like a funky looking Y that's there near the wetland area. So what that is, that's a stabilized entry point to get a mini excavator down that embankment, because that's the shallowest, steepest area of the embankment that's out there. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow to get down to the bottom side and actually stabilize the slope on the bottom. And then once that's stabilized, it's going to work up to the western portion of the premises. That whole slope that's in through there is going to get reshaped, stabilized. We're going to do some riprap on there. The proposed contours that are shown on there, those are a 2-to-1 slope. That's not the best slope in the world, but it's not the worst slope, and it actually alleviates some of the issues out there with the current slope and hard conditions. And as you move further south along the property, you'll see that the slope is going to get worked on from the top side of where the impoundment is and not on the bottom side, because it's just way too rough in through that area. So at that point, it's going to have to be a machine from the top side to remove a lot of the material that's out there and reshape it so that can get stabilized. We are proposing the double-staked hay bales on the bottom side along the wetland. And the reason why we're doing it with the hay bales instead of the straw wattles or whatnot is because they're sturdier and they're about 2 feet high, and they can withstand the impacts of possibly other material falling down the slope as it's being worked. So it just creates a little bit better of an issue instead of letting like other rocks or whatnot tumble into the water.
All right, so can we omit the hay bales and do straw bales? Because I don't like the
Sure.
invasive species. No, the
Oh yeah. Straw bales are fine. They're not an issue. Yeah. And then
you need something a little higher.
yeah, because
And they could even act as like check dams as you go.
yep.
Yeah.
And then on the top side of the slope, we actually have the straw wattles up on the top side just to keep anything from falling onto the slope. We also have a staging area between the shed and the container that's out there with straw wattles going around that as well. Just someplace that can stage some material while stuff comes in and out that's required for out there. So once we get that stabilized, then if you go to the left-hand side, you'll see there's a planting plan. So we're gonna be using a New England mix, that's shown in green throughout that whole area. We got some blueberry, and we got some choke cherry to get all planted on the bottom side. The riprap on the slope, you know, it'll naturally vegetate as it weathers. And to plant anything on that slope, I don't think you'd be able to the way it is, or even after it's fully constructed. So I know there's a kind of short notice on this because unfortunately I got back earlier today and I emailed the plans over, but I just want everybody to know that we have been working on this. And as promised, we're here to move forward, and hopefully we'll mitigate everything that we need to.
Okay, I have a question. The area which is green dotted, that's going to be brought right down to...
That's gonna get the removal of the rubble and whatnot, and then we're probably gonna have to bring in some loam and loam in there, and then that's gonna get reseeded.
The area with the green hexagon, that's going to be sloped?
Yes.
The debris is going to be removed, but there'll be a steep slope there.
Yeah, that and there's, it varies from a 2-to-1 to a 3-to-1.
Okay, and well, you got to get the debris, you'll find out what the angle is
Once,
after the debris has been removed.
Exactly.
Creeping juniper might do good there. I had to work on a slope in Swansea, and it was really steep. We didn't think anything was gonna grow there, but the creeping juniper seemed to do okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with having some creeping juniper in through there as well. Yeah.
I'm gonna need some time to digest it all.
Oh, yeah, I know, I wasn't expecting anything other than that for tonight. It's just because of the short notice. And I wasn't expecting to go to Utah either, but...
Okay, I think we've made a lot of progress from the past.
We've come a long way. We're gonna go a long way.
And, you know, from what I can see, and like Lisa said, a little bit of time needs to be to adjust this and all your notes that you have made on here.
Yeah, the notes.
I am pleased with the movement of this.
Likewise.
And also, so you know, these notes were almost from another site that we're all familiar with. We also have the vista pruning of invasive species mentioned in here as well. Yeah. Just you know, maintain it and keep it nicer.
I have a question about the schedule. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking about doing it this spring?
Yeah, I know that my client is going to be going out of the country for a little while, and then he's going to come back in June. So after he returns is when we'll actually end up starting.
Yeah, and then the plant will be in the fall.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want to plant in August.
Oh, not really, no.
How long do you anticipate this project taking?
Because of the steepness up there, this is probably going to be at least 2, maybe 3 months. It's not going to be easy because, you know, you go out there, it's like this.
And I did see the state working out in the front.
It's all done.
It's all done, and they pitched it all into the road?
Yeah.
Okay, they pitched it into the road, so you must have a lip there between that, and I'm gonna call it your parking lot or driveway, I'm not sure what you call it.
It was the first restaurant in Dayton years ago, yeah.
Okay, but so there must be a lip there on your end because it's gonna be higher to go into the highway.
They kept it up high as they could.
Yeah.
To keep the water up. They admit that the water was coming in from the road. Yeah, they admit it. But nobody else wants to admit it.
Well, actually, what I viewed was the street water was going down the street, but that, I'm gonna call it 6 or 8 foot
Apron.
apron, thank you, that water was going onto your property, the apron water.
Yeah.
You could see it as it went down the hill, you could see the channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Right now, you can
running
see-
out.
You can see the stream of water coming in from the street.
Is
You
that-
understand the,
We didn't have much rain today, but it should have been running properly.
I gotta add that on the plan.
Okay, I think for now, we're going to take this under advisement with this plan. I mean, it looks good, but we can go over it and you can kind of plan on your next step, because I do see us approving it, but we want to act judiciously on it.
Oh, yeah, sure. And if Lisa has some time between this and the next meeting, I can schedule a meeting with her and kind of go over everything. So that way,
Just a Teams meeting or
Yeah.
something, it doesn't have to be in person.
yeah, oh, yeah, that's fine. So that way, by the time we're here the next time, we should have a pretty solid plan.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds good. I don't know if anyone in the audience has any questions. This is County Street, 138. Okay, are you finished?
Yeah, I am.
Does anyone have any questions for now?
would you like for a motion to continue this?
Well, a motion to continue to take it under advisement and study the maps.
Does anybody else have, the commission have anything else before I propose a motion? I would propose a motion to take under advisement the restoration plan presented for 2371 County Street and continue the discussion to 5:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. D'Souza. Have fun. Yeah, you too.
Have fun.
As much as we can, I guess.
Yeah, right. Beautiful weather coming up anyway, I guess, so. Yeah.
Okay, next is 1035 William Street, map 8, lot 14-2, letter issued 428, previous file number 17-4, 403, site visit with Outback Engineering with an owner on 3/13, public hearing open 4/20/23 and closed with denial of, on 7/20. Lisa, anything else on that?
I requested a check from the town. I guess it's been cut, today, and I'm gonna record that enforcement order next week.
Okay. So that's gonna be, do we have to, have we as a commission voted on that enforcement order?
You can ratify that, oh, you have voted on it, yes.
Okay, all right, because it says by agent, okay.
Oh, yeah, the enforcement order has definitely been voted on previously.
Okay, all right. So now, what are you sending? You said you're sending something to the town?
a deed restriction?
No, I'm recording the enforcement order.
On the deed?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so, yeah, no, it's gonna be placed on his deed.
Same thing. Yep.
Okay.
okay. 0 Horton Street, map 10, lot 53, Lisa?
Hold on one second.
Okay.
So yeah, Yeah, 0 Horton Street, we didn't have an update, however, I reached out to the consultant today, he got back to me today, and, I guess that's why Mr. Buffington is here.
Right.
We may have good
Want me to
progress.
go up there?
Yeah, they want you to go up
This
there.
is John Buffett.
Could I have the spotlight?
Thanks. John Buffington, 2685 Horton Street. The update is that I got a letter from the owner of the property, or an email from the owner of the property saying, have a purchase and sale agreement drawn up by your lawyer, and I'll sign it. So
Oh, good.
it's
That's good news.
basically going to be, that's the update for now. My question to you is, hopefully before May 30th, we'll have this all taken care of. Can I immediately have that material removed from the property, or have to come back here?
So I think if the commission is okay with it, I would suggest, I know I've already seen the draft plan that Zenith had. The commission just hasn't voted.
They haven't seen it, nor have I, because the bill hasn't been paid yet.
I mean, I've got a copy of it
Yeah.
right now, but
It's fine. Until the bill's paid, I don't need to see it. Because that was part of the conditions of me getting the
Yeah.
property, was I was gonna cover the expenses of
yeah.
all of that.
Okay.
Lisa, what would your opinion be, and if we were unable to hold a vote, given the length that you've gone through to restore the site?
Yeah,
I would be amenable to a special meeting if we needed one in
Yeah.
order to provide a timely approval.
Great.
there isn't gonna be a lot of, your biggest thing was getting that product removed. They will not, once the product is removed, we're not gonna do anything else on it until probably the winter. Because there's just, he's disturbed so much, and there's so much going on in there right now that I don't wanna disturb any of the wildlife, excuse.
Yeah.
It's just at the point now where the turtles are coming out, the frogs are starting to hatch, you know,
Right,
there's
so the
all
only
this
other
other
thing
stuff.
maybe you would do is erosion controls.
We
which
had discussed
your
that earlier,
contractor-
yeah.
Yeah, we have to install some. Yeah, so if you guys, I mean, it would
I'll
have to be with oversight by me.
Yeah, I will let you know as soon as everything moves forward. I'll
Right.
keep you up to date
And
on
make
the
sure
email.
your contractor and your wetland scientist keeps communicating with me, yeah.
Those fines are to the previous owner, or the current owner, actually, right?
Comment.
Current owner,
Current owner.
not me.
No, I said previous, I already put you in the ownership, which isn't the case. Okay, John, so,
But, yeah, did you want to make a motion that if we didn't receive something, if we don't receive something within 10 business days,
I have to make the purchase and sale agreement up for him, and he's gonna do it.
Okay.
I don't have an appointment with my lawyer till Tuesday.
Okay, but if the commission maybe will make a motion to, if we don't receive an approvable plan within 10 business days of the closing, then we may start issuing Mr. Oliveira fines again? Does that make sense?
that sounds okay. So that would push you along to,
I don't think, once, the way he sent me an email, and the way he sounded like he just wants to be done with this at this point. So as soon as my lawyer gets through what he's gotta do, and I get the purchase and sale to him, I think it'll be a done deal.
Yeah, the last thing that Maureen and I want to do is have to take it anybody.
Yeah,
anymore.
that, you know, I don't think that's necessary at this point.
Yeah.
I think he's about had it up to here, and the poor guy's got enough issues.
Yeah, so as long as he doesn't get cold feet, you know.
Yeah, no, I think his wife's pushing him a little bit.
okay, so we'll not do any action of any sort then. Okay, there you go.
Very good, all right.
All right.
Thank you, good luck, be in touch.
It's good news, John. It's good news.
Bill, are you here for him? Did you want to talk about this? You want to talk about this? No.
Thank you.
Okay, 1420 William Street, map 11, lot 9, new violation discovered on property, agricultural portion when conducting site visit at Clearway. Lisa?
No update.
1033 Oak Street, map 7, lot 20-2.
We gotta wake Evan up, he's in the corner. Watching TV.
All right, you take care. Have a good week. I'm glad it worked out for you.
Now I put to sleep. How you doing, Ev?
Good, how you been?
Good.
I have a small copy. Handout.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's Evan Watson, W Engineering, representing the owner of 1033 Oak Street.
So, Seth called me because he was contacted by Lisa about a violation of placing a garage too close to the BBW next door. He got a building permit to put in the,
What's that mean? Let's see. Let me just get my notes here. Oh, I'm looking at that.
that's right, so, in 2022, I think in May and June, this was constructed. And then, I'm sorry, 21. And then I think it was August of 23, he was contacted with a letter notifying that he had placed the structure
Too close to the BBW. So what we did is I hired Ken Thompson, wetland scientist. He went out and delineated the wetlands.
What's not shown on this plan is actually a stone wall that runs this property line, so it makes sense that that stone wall was
Essentially placed at the edge of the wetland resource area, you know, when the stone wall was originally placed by the farmer years ago. Probably couldn't grow anything over there, so that's where the stone wall went.
So the work that he did was all on this side of the stone wall. There was no evidence of a wetland impact or anything on this side that we could see, or that Ken could find by doing some augers around this way. And then this shed was,
I'm sorry, the garage is a pole barn, like done by the Amish. And then it's on a concrete slab and it's underlain by all crushed stone. So all the roof basically comes down into the crushed stone and any water can flow underneath it, etc.
And then in front, there's just gravel access that you can come in from his driveway. And then you'll see it says garage overhang. There's like a lean-to, the roof extends out beyond with no walls.
So again, it happened 2 years ago. It is, you know, an issue. It violates your bylaw. And I was coming here to discuss really how we wanted to proceed. Whether or not, and the way I look at it, there's a couple options. The most entailed would be filing an after-the-fact notice of intent with new design plans, butter notification and permit, etc. Or another way to go would be to issue an enforcement order and then check off to provide a restoration plan. And what we could do is right here where this wetland is, we can, right now he's using this area for processing firewood. He's a teacher at Bristol Aggie, but he has a firewood company. So he is processing firewood there. So we could pull that back and do a restoration plan here with some plantings. And then along the back as well, we can add some plantings here to try and mitigate, you know, what was done here. but it was up to the board, and I'd be happy to hear any input or answer any questions you have about this site.
Either of you guys have any questions? Okay, I did like your pulling back that, taking that wood out of the area and then doing that restoration.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in a flood zone, Ramon?
I'm sorry?
Are you in a flood zone?
Nope, we're not in the flood zone. We're not in a natural heritage area. No vernal pools.
There is a stream in that BBW.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
way over here. Yeah.
All right.
And then it comes like back around this way.
Okay.
Okay, so again, could you tell us about that wood in the front that would be removed and what you would do?
Yeah, so we could pull this area back about 30 feet, in here, and then we could add some plantings. He asked me, he goes, "Oh, what plantings do we need to put?" Because he's, he's into plants. Like I said, he's a teacher at Bristol Aggie, and he was like, "I want you to just put some blueberry plant or some generic thing. Can I help pick out the plants?" And I said, "Absolutely. We can come up with a plan, and we can come up with some plants that you'd like there that are facultative. I don't think they'd have to be an obligate species, but something that would be facultative and something that would grow there and they might not like."
As long as they're native and they're on my list.
Put some burning bush
I have my
there.
own list.
We'll put burning bush there and we'll be all set.
No.
Just kidding, yeah.
What are you gonna think of that?
Are you gonna use hay bales too?
Let him replicate some of the area. He's got, access to.
Yeah, in the back there, the side.
In the back and the side, even if he has to go farther over on his lot. You know what I mean? If he, does that.
That would certainly show intent for improvement and maybe active negligence or whatever. Is there a vehicle traffic going into that barn or a garage or whatever you're calling it? Garage?
Yeah, so he has some equipment, like I said, for his business, and so on this gravel access, he's able to bring his equipment through this way.
Okay.
And then again, on this overhang area, he might bring his lawnmower in and out of there, or things like that. But there's no, heavy access other than the equipment going in.
Is this in a natural heritage area? I'm checking.
It is not.
You checked? Okay.
Yep, I did.
Lisa, do you have a preference? I believe you mentioned that this could either be an after the fact NOI or an enforcement order with a restoration plan. Do you have a preference for one or the other?
Let me think about that for a minute. Where is the septic system?
The septic system is right in front of the house, outside the 100-foot buffer
Oh,
zone.
okay.
And I will just mention, I did review some of this stuff at my office before I came about notices versus enforcement orders and things. And so long as there's no, unauthorized fill placed in an actual resource area itself, and that there's not a violation there, that an enforcement order could be done without a short order. And it's just a matter of your bylaw.
I'm leaning towards the enforcement order because this isn't a project that we would typically approve because he's in the 50-foot no build. So if it's not a project you would typically approve, then you wouldn't ask for a notice of intent.
I agree.
Okay, so this would just be him giving us a restoration plan.
We would vote to.
I would need to issue an enforcement.
Yeah, so vote to issue an enforcement order and then.
Yeah, Evan's gonna draft it for me.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we can work together and do that. And so we'll put together an enforcement order. All right. Yeah, you can issue the enforcement order. And, but we don't want the enforcement order to say tear down the building. So we can work together to say, yeah. But that way, everything's on paper, and that way the commission actually saw a violation. You issue an enforcement order, and then we can be responsive and issue a mitigation plan. And then once that gets done, you can issue the certificate, and we'll be good to go.
I'm available for that.
Yeah.
So could we do the planting area like a 2-to-1 area, so you've got X amount of square feet in the 25-foot no touch, and X amount of square feet, and the 50-foot no build. And once you determine that, kind of double that area, and that'll be the area of the planting.
Maybe, it's almost kind of funny, because if the wetland was closer to the property line, I'd be able to add more,
What's way in the back? Is that forested, or is it?
Back here?
Yeah.
I'll show you guys on an aerial.
Yeah, there's some other wetland resource areas out here further out, and then his.
Or is that open area too?
No, his lawn more or less follows this line, so, lawn more or less like this.
So, this is the property right here.
Okay.
So this is the area. So the woods, yeah,
Okay.
next to the stone wall.
Oh, yeah, I see it now, okay, I got it.
And there's also, there is see that dashed stream there? There's an intricate stream within it, but because it's dashed and it's light blue, it only has a 100-foot buffer.
Okay.
So that BBW buffer would trump that, you know what I mean?
Got it, okay, so we don't have to worry about that, because it's already
Yeah.
accounted for.
Okay. All right, so we'll issue an enforcement order, and then he will do a replication based upon the enforcement order that we just talked about.
So moved.
Is there, okay, the motion is made to issue an enforcement order to the.
Second.
All in favor?
You guys are
Okay.
getting tired.
Okay, so that'll be coming, then you, for our 5:30 meeting, it's May 30th. You can have that plan done, and we can take care of you, finish everything up on that day.
Yep, absolutely, yep, and he's actually interested in picking up the plants and everything, so I'll work with him, and it'll be the nicest looking mitigation plan, I'm sure. 'cause
There you go.
Excellent, looking forward to it.
I like your attitude.
Just remind them that it's gonna be a natural area, it's not necessarily gonna be a landscape.
No, it's,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
say, it's not gonna do a topiary garden there or anything, but, yeah.
Okay. So I think before we keep moving on, do we wanna see who's here? Which project do you have?
251 Main Street.
Okay.
Supposed motion to take 251 Main Street out of order?
Oh, 251's not on the agenda,
No,
that would be under public input.
Let's take 710 Center Street.
Yep. Thanks, Evan.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
710 Center Street?
How are you making out?
Well, I staked out the area that was on the plot plan anyway, so.
You communicating with Natural Heritage?
I haven't really got in touch with them yet. I got a letter last week or the week before.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of drew up something, if you want to look at it. It's nothing official, but just what I staked out anyway, with a compass and a 200-foot tape.
That's fine.
That's basically what it came up
You gotta give it to the teacher.
You gotta get it to the guy in the middle.
with. It doesn't really, that probably went back for a couple properties. Natural heritage.
That's okay,
Go ahead.
My neighbor was telling me that when he built his house, it was.
Oops, what'd you do?
Drop my pen, I'll cut it.
Okay.
The environment shade.
Whatever, it's, forms wetland.
Yeah.
200 foot off of that vernal pool is also the area that we protect, so natural heritage has like,
Sure.
yeah.
I think you would have to come out and really, look at it. 'Cause 200 feet off of,
The high water mark on the vernal pool.
No, yeah.
No, 100 up the high water mark.
No, 200 up the high water mark.
The high water's too, I thought it was.
That's our jurisdiction. The vernal pool is 100 feet from the high water mark.
Because the species rely on the upland too.
okay, so my property's 200 feet deep,
Yeah.
so it goes all the way to the road.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think like maybe if natural heritage is gonna come out there, maybe the three of us could have a site visit at this, could do the site visit at the same time.
Yeah, that
Maybe
makes
if
sense.
any of the commissioners wants to come too, but I think your next step is, did they ask, what did they ask you for? They asked you for this?
They didn't ask me for really anything, they told me in the letter to talk to you.
They told you to talk to me?
Well, not talk to you, but
Yeah.
it would go through you.
But I think, yeah, but I think what they were asking for is to know the area that you wanted to disturb, right? And then the area you're gonna plant.
Well, I don't want to disturb really, but.
Yeah, but you already did.
I did, yes, but I didn't know I was.
Okay.
So I guess, I think you should respond to them and let, you know, and tell them that you plan to replant it
Right.
and see what they want you to do. They probably want you to do something like this.
Because that is the natural heritage triangle that I own.
Yeah, you might even send them this map here that you've drawn.
Yeah, take
And,
photos.
and say, this is what I disturbed, and I am going to replant with local conservation approval.
Okay.
And that may just clear them up completely.
Yeah, well, so from what, there is a process, because Mr. Al, remember, went through that.
I do.
You might wanna get a wetland scientist involved, and they can deal with some of this stuff for you. That's up to you. We have a consultant list that we basically give to people, consultants that work in town a lot. And Evan, who was here, he could have helped you too, but that's kind of up
But
to
that's
you.
good, you know.
So maybe a good first step would be for him to send this to
Yeah.
Natural Heritage
Yeah.
and just ask them to further advise on if they
Yeah.
would like to work with you, if they'd like to work jointly with the Concom, or if they would like you to go through the Conservation
Yeah.
Commission.
Just clarify.
And, once we get clarification.
And send them this
just
map.
provide- Yeah, sure. Just provide them this and just ask what they wanna do, and they may tell you that they have action for you through them, they may tell you to just work through us, but
Yeah.
once we're armed with better information, we can decide what the way to go forward is. But,
Right.
That's good, appreciate you did this, and, yeah, no, thanks.
I'm gonna see if I can read the letter too. Hang on 1 second. Do you remember who it was from? Was it from, Misty?
Don't know.
No?
But
Oh, okay, all right. So dated March 26th. I got a couple of copies here. Jim, do you want it? All right, so 710 Center Street, to whom it may concern, the Mass Division of Fisheries and Wildlife Division was notified about your work occurring at 710 Center Street. Activities include soil and vegetation alterations that resulted in impacts to conservation restriction area, recorded in compliance with the Mass Endangered Species Act, the conservation management permit with the number that she referenced all the laws. So the division has no record of a MESA project filing of this. Violations of the MESA are subject to civil criminal penalties. The area is protected by a conservation restriction held by the Secretary of Massachusetts Executive Office of Environmental Energy and Environmental Affairs and held by the Dayton Conservation Commission. of conservation restriction to legally enforceable agreement, whose purpose is to ensure permanent protection per blah, blah, blah.
You know, Lisa, looking at this over here, this,
Yeah, page 2.
on page 2, you know, submit a project narrative, well, you're just gonna put, you know, that you inadvertently cut trees down in an area, and you wish to restore, send the map to them of what you did,
Yeah.
and then say, I am involved with the local commission, and we're talking about restoration of the site.
Yeah, and that it's a temporary.
And that may solve it.
Yeah, that it's simply a temporary disturbance, that you're not looking for a permanent disturbance there, and you plan to replant. You know, that's the.
Did you get this?
Yeah, I do have that.
Okay.
Pretty sure I have that.
You can have this copy. All restoration needs to be completed by October 1st, 2024. So that's pretty easy. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's
that's
good. I think it's,
attainable, right? Yeah.
because you didn't go in there with a backhoe and do anything
Did
like
you
that.
change the grade?
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's-
you're very lucky in that.
I
You
believe,
didn't build anything.
I believe,
No gold on
I
it.
think I only took down 2 trees in there, but I'll put 3 back and.
Okay, well, you know, that's something to tell them.
Yeah.
And they might just say, okay, just work through us. At least I would expect that. Yeah, you want to have that back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I must be confused with the buffer zone too then,
Okay.
because I thought it was 100 feet when you guys came out. I thought we were talking 100 feet.
Well, 100, like we said, the way the vernal pools are protected, it's 100 feet off the high water line.
That's the vernal pool. That's considered the vernal
That's
pool.
part of the pool.
Okay.
And then 100 feet beyond that. However, I don't think this commission is going to make you restore all the way up to the street. We want.
He didn't touch it all.
Right, right. He didn't, but the house did. But in this case, I think we're in good shape if we just restore what was there a few months ago.
I think if we're just talking about replanting to compensate for the cutting.
And
I don't think we can go any further than that.
Few trees in his backyard, because, I mean,
Yeah,
the house, if we're going with 200 foot, his house is right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He didn't build his house, he bought,
I would also lose my whole backyard.
no. I mean, you're gonna lose your house and your backyard and your driveway and everything, you go that way.
Okay, so you know where you're heading and what you're gonna do then?
I believe so.
Okay,
All right.
okay, so you're gonna send to Mass, National Heritage, your map, your, tell them what you did in dialogue, because there's, on page 2, it's 1, 2, and 3. It's gonna tell, so you're gonna tell them what you did, you inadvertently, cut 2 trees down in property that, you know, National Heritage, and that you've been in contact with the commission, and you wish to replant the trees you cut down and leave it in its natural state.
yeah, so it's gonna be like tree planting plus some seed, and I'll help you figure that stuff out.
That'd be great.
But if you could make a phone call to this person that, you know, Jesse, over there, and start with that. And then just ask, should I email you, you know, that this is my scenario, how would you like me to proceed? And then just contact me. I'll give you my work cell phone number so that you can reach me easier. Sorry, I don't know if I have it.
I might have it.
I got it. It's 508-821-8238. And then you can call me or text me on that, ask a question, whatever you need to do. I'll try to answer questions. If you want, you can try to do a call together, but, you know.
You got that number, right?
I got it.
Okay.
I would like you to try to proceed without my help, but I am willing to help you with this because I understand it's not, you know. Just start the dialogue with them and then see where that goes.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Chairman?
No, I think we're all set with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, Lisa, what do you want to do next on here, Lisa?
Would you like to take public input out of order?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'd like to propose motion to take public input out of order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So I believe you said you took to Main Street? Is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, yeah, if you'd like to go.
My name is Richard Burr. I'm the contractor for 251 Main Street. We're replacing the septic system. And I'm here for Foresight Engineering. He couldn't make it tonight, so I have some plans.
Photos, did you take any photos of the site? I've just driven by, I haven't been
You
able
know,
to.
I think you can share one here.
Okay.
Chairman, where is this on the agenda?
Public input. This is public input.
We're gonna go back to the others up above. It was just voted to take public input first.
Okay, we took the trees down.
Well, let's back up.
Okay,
You have an existing order of conditions,
yes.
okay, that we did issue to Darren. There was a site visit, I met with the owner and Rick.
I'm Rick, yes.
Yeah, and Rick, to review the site, and then go ahead.
So the existing sewer pipe isn't the way we thought it was on the plan. It goes under the row of trees that are there. And then the existing sewer system that's there is under the trees. It's much bigger. It's a cesspool, but it's been added on to years ago. So in order to decommission the cesspool to replace the septic tanks, the trees had to come down. Lisa was sick.
Well, actually, I was at the site and I told
At the site.
I was at the site and told them, don't remove the trees without coming to the Conservation Commission.
Yes, it's,
Yeah.
well, that was, we wanted to remove the trees.
And
Just,
then they found out I was sick, so they removed the trees.
what happened is we
That's the truth. I'm not done.
the homeowner wanted to remove the trees. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted the trees removed. But then all this came into play and the sewer system actually clogged up. So we dug by hand, chased the sewer pipe, and it goes right under the trees. And when you see the sewer pipe, it actually, it's showing the sewer pipe go underneath that concrete shed. It doesn't, it actually goes out, and it goes right here. And then the circular sewer system that's showing right there is much bigger, and there's a pipe that comes off, and it branches into there, and it branches into here. You see right there the.
Yeah, so right here, then this stuff coming in, and follows this line.
Exactly, it doesn't go underneath that concrete pad like it shows. And then there's two outlets, one into there and one into over here. And it's all that armor pipe and all the loops have gone through. So we actually snaked it out so that it actually, we pumped out the existing cesspool. Just to get them through to this point. And then, while we were there, he wanted to clean up the debris pile isn't on his property. So we'd asked permission to clean up the debris pile. And then we wanted Darren to draw us a plan showing us putting silt fence or the Filtrex sock and some conservation signs on the neighboring property. But we don't, it was vacant, we didn't know who owned it, so Darren couldn't contact the owner, so he didn't want to draw it on the plan. So we thought we would just,
Which is fine, that's
Yeah.
fine.
we thought we would just pick out some of the heavy debris, because he's got a mice problem too. He's got mice all in his house, and he thinks it's all coming from the debris pile that's there. There's a compost box, there's logs, pallets stacked up. It's kind of a mess.
So now it's gone, right?
We just took out the big logs, the stuff that was too big to handle by hand. Anything else, I think we're gonna do another plan after the septic system's in to try and clean that up somehow. I don't know what how Darren's gonna handle that. but he might draw up another plan to kind of clean that area up.
And add some riprap.
It actually shows some riprap on this plan
Oh, it
here,
does.
on the property edge though.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. So right now, we have the Philtrex sock on the property line, around the thing, and then I actually put silt fence around on the neighbor's property, we put silt fence in, just around that, the debris pile. But our intent isn't to disturb any soil on the debris pile. We just took what we could with a machine and picked out the big logs and the big trash. And we're not gonna dig any of the brush or the roots or even like the little pieces of metal and stuff that's in there. He's just gonna remove that by hand later.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, I tried to ask
It
Pat.
belonged to that factory that was there.
Zedeca?
I don't know what it was
Yeah.
called.
Zedeca.
Yeah. But he didn't know how to get a hold of somebody through there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want, it's complicated, but, you know, there's a 21E, that's a contaminated site, so you definitely don't want them in the soil at all.
Right, that's what Darren said, yeah. So what we're looking to do now is to replace the septic tanks and slide on the leaching field. And not touch, so the trees are gone. And I didn't know if you wanted to replace the trees and put some new trees there,
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good idea to replace the trees.
or a fence, or, I don't know what
Why don't you talk to him and see what he'd prefer?
he suggested some aprovites or something, but I don't know if
Which is
that,
pretty much what was there.
yeah.
Aren't you worried about those growing into the system though?
I don't know, he just suggested that, yeah.
Yeah.
The system should be far enough away, so it shouldn't, and we're using all plastic pipes, so the roots shouldn't affect the plastic, the PVC pipe, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't know if anyone
no,
has a
it's fine.
recommendation on what kind of arborvitaes, but the eastern ones probably, the native.
Aprovites.
Yeah.
And then,
But I think this change, and what I was trying to tell him on the phone, can just, and if the commission agrees, we want you to move forward with the septic system. We understand that, you know, it's a failing system. We need
yeah,
to get it fixed. So, this can be captured through the as-built. So down, you know, when all is said and done, when the site's stabilized, this is in,
yeah,
then you file for a certificate of compliance with the plan, and then Darren will just note any changes to the plan. So
and I
this will be a
apologize,
change.
because it was, taking the trees down was my call, and I thought, because the system was under it and the pipes were under it, I thought we could pick that up on the as-built, and I didn't realize that they were within that buffer zone.
Right, I just wanted the commission
Yeah.
to know what was going on.
Yes.
That's why I told you guys not to do anything else.
Right, that's why we stopped and, yeah.
Okay, so we're all set then, and what's gonna happen? The system is in or going in?
Going in,
okay.
Yeah.
And you have your DEP file number up?
It's, yeah, I took a picture of that, I did take a picture of that,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good.
Okay, all right, so we don't have to take any other action at this time? Okay.
Well, just remind your client to, you know, be respectful of town officials.
I did, I had a long talk, actually, I went to his father, he's young and he's hot-headed and,
Yes, I've heard.
yeah, he's rude, actually, is the word I would use, but, yeah.
I've heard.
But I talked to his father and told him, so, I'm shooting for an apology, is what I'm shooting for, but.
Okay, are we all set then? Okay. Bill, we'll take.
Still doing public input?
Yeah.
Well, I don't care if it's on the, well, whatever you want, because it can either be on the public or if you came here for a specific site.
I can't hear you.
Mr. Frenette, are you here for a specific property or public input today?
Okay, we'll do you then.
Somebody left this here?
Excuse me, is that yours?
Yes. You'd be happy to know that one of my neighbors has agreed to pay for the removal of the silt in my wetlands. We'll be doing that at low water, sometime, whatever low water is.
August?
Yeah, August, September maybe. we'll be working from the high dry side. We won't go into the west or north side through the skunk cabbage and the cattails. We'll stay away from that stuff. And when
Okay. Now, this goes under a farm pond, am I correct? This is a farm pond.
it's a farm pond wetland.
Okay. No, I'm just looking at the ease in which it can be done, rather than
Well,
cleaning a farm pond.
it's a wetland, and my neighbor has agreed to remove the silt that got into my wetland
Yeah.
with the construction on his property.
Correct.
That's,
It's dredging.
it's what?
It is, you'll be dredging.
Yes.
Now, because it's a farm pond.
Jim,
Yes.
it's a wetland.
I thought this was your pond.
It's my pond, but it's a wetland.
Well,
It's loaded with it.
It's a wetland on an active commercial farm, is that right?
The north and the west side of it is completely covered with skunk cabbage.
Well, he's not gonna take the skunk cabbage out.
No, that's what I was telling you. He's gonna work from the east side of the pond,
Yeah,
where it's high and dry, where the dam is,
yeah.
and remove the silt that got in there from the.
That's what I'm
construction.
saying. He's cleaning the pond.
He's
He's not
cleaning the
taking out
pond.
the skunk cabbage. He's not cutting down maple trees.
Not
He's
gonna
not
do
cutting
nothing like
blueberry bushes. He's doing the pond.
When we have a date, I will tell you.
Is the dredging gonna require a filing, Lisa?
Bill, have you met with your consultant regarding?
I can't hear you.
Your consultant that was working with you on this.
Have you met with your consultant? Have you met with your consultant who is working with you on this?
Have I met with a consultant?
Yes, Brandon was doing the measurements in there.
Oh, he did that years and years ago.
Okay.
I'm not working with Brandon on this at all.
Okay, because Mr. Arujo is going through a dredging project, and he has hired a consultant for that. So a farming operation, you should get some advice on that.
See Kenny Arujo on what he's doing to dredge his pond.
Okay. It's my understanding with the Farm Bureau that you can clean out a pond every 10 years. I have never had it cleaned out. I've had it silted up a lot. You know, you understand that, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't, right now, as of this time, I don't know if you have to say to us or to the state, I am going to clean my farm pond and blah, blah, and that's it. I don't know how much there is to it. Kenny Arujo can tell you.
I'm
because
not Kenny Arujo.
But talk to him because he's
I
going
don't
through
need
that.
to talk to Kenny. I'm cleaning out my pond that was silted up.
But he will tell
With
you.
my neighbor, and my neighbor has agreed to pay for it.
But he will tell you if you need to file certain papers.
Kenny Arujo doesn't tell me what to file, and he won't. I'm sorry. When I'm ready to do the, when I'm ready to remove the silt, I will come in and let you know.
Nice to see you.
Would you like to return to the agenda?
Let's go back to the agenda.
All right, we're at 297 Wheeler.
Oh, we did, okay, wait a minute, where are we now?
Okay,
We did 1420 William Street.
okay.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
We did 1030 Oak Street, 1 Morris Lane. Lisa?
Yeah.
Yes, 1 Morris Lane. Actually, it was on my list of people to call. She does want to plant some trees. She was just trying to pick out which ones, either trees or shrubs. So it may be shrubs.
Okay. Lisa, would you ask whoever if a permit is needed to dredge farm ponds?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Don't worry. I've already got that in my mind.
Okay, all right, and then it would be forwarded to. I tried to do it a different way, but it didn't work out. Okay, so Morris Lane is set.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
2097 Wheeler Street.
No update.
1334 Tremont.
Has anyone driven by to see if he may have just put a
It
shed?
has not been planted.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about
I'll
the
go by
shed.
there. I'll go,
Okay.
I'll
No.
go by there tomorrow.
I have not driven by. I happened to see that resident at Town Hall the other day.
Oh.
And, he did mention that no action's been taken.
Okay.
That's what he told me.
Good to know.
You say this is the new house?
They haven't loaned it yet.
I don't think so.
No,
Oh,
I'm telling you, they haven't.
This is not Tremont Street, this is Maple Swamp. 2097, right?
Oh, okay, I thought we were by there. I thought we were on Tremont. Okay, go- Wheeler Street.
We're driving over to Tremont right now. 1334 Tremont Street.
Nothing.
There's definitely no, the site is not stabilized. The erosion controls are still in. I didn't see any egg masses when I was there last. I need to take a look again.
They were supposed to loam it and seed it, and it
They were
hasn't been
supposed to
done.
loam and
You
seed
haven't
it.
had the weather, Jim.
What?
You haven't had the weather, the landscape, but I know he wanted to do it, but
He wanted to do it.
Definitely,
and
he was on
They
board.
had guys there the day he said, but what they did is they only raked out sand.
Don't tell Jim, he's been in his yard doing yard work for the past week.
well, no,
Every day.
Every time I went by, I never saw any activity.
No, I haven't seen the activity, and I've been by there several times in the past week.
Every
So-
time I went by, it was raining, so.
I'm gonna follow up with him right now. Okay.
Okay. 2470 Pleasant Street.
2470 Pleasant, we don't have, he has not responded to us. I gotta follow up with him too.
We did 418 Hart Street already, I believe, right?
Yes, we did. We did 710 as well.
Yep.
Okay, 880 is a new one. Well, not new, it's an old one that's recircling. Do you want to tell the commission while I'm typing it in?
880 Hot Street. They've got a bunch of boats in their driveways. There's wetlands that they tried to restore, and it's back to being a mess again.
It's been filled in that, if you take a drive by there and you look at the older aerials, you'll see,
Okay, so you
The
have down the
backyard's-
bottom, enforcement order needs to be issued.
yeah, the side yard on the eastern portion has been filled. And now there's boats being stored there. I don't know how long the boats will be there, but you can clearly see that there's new fill. So, yeah, they need an enforcement order, and it's been on my list of things to do.
Okay, shall we vote to issue an enforcement order for 880 Hart Street?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to propose a motion to return to our original scheduled items that we deferred earlier.
Okay. Dayton Conservation Bylaw changes.
Do we need a vote on that, or do we just automatically?
Did anyone submit anything? I know I submitted stuff to Lisa. Lisa has written things up. Is there anyone else that has submitted material?
I have not submitted any material.
Are you going to, do you plan to?
At this time, no.
I don't have any proposed amendments at this time.
Okay. Okay, Lisa, do you want to deal with what we already have talked about, and then we can put it in writing?
Is this for the annual, or will this be for the special? Okay.
Alright, so some of the bylaw changes we had in mind. Include sorry, I'm not as organized as I wanted to be tonight.
sorry?
Do you have your list?
No, I gave it to you.
Oh, no.
Dog ate it,
That's not good.
Lenny probably took it and put it in his pocket.
Oh, you got it?
No, it's stormwater bylaws.
I think I grabbed it on the phone.
You're the new guy, Lenny, we're gonna get you in trouble.
Yeah. I got plenty of copies of the bylaw, but I don't have the, well, some of the things anyways that I was thinking, we could spell out, minor activities, you know, and then, so minor activities should be spelled out.
I was thinking that it also could make sense if we were to consider making certain activities exempt under the local bylaw, if they're exempt under the Wetland Protection Act.
Exactly.
I think that that could be just some nice housekeeping cleanup that would,
Yep.
that would also bring the bylaw more in spirit, in line with the spirit of the WPA.
Yeah, exactly. Activities in the buffer zone, yeah. That's,
Right.
yeah. Then we had also spoken about,
I think we experienced that recently with the archaeological excavations, right? They're exempt
Yeah.
under WPA, they're not exempt
Exactly.
under the local bylaw. And I think things like that are pretty ripe for some housekeeping.
yep,
But
exactly.
luckily, if we're looking at this, the special, if we don't have the actual amendments tonight, we can just have a conversation around it, and some ideas, and we don't have
Yeah.
to necessarily take
That's
any
kind of
action.
what we were just trying to do. So, oh, I feel bad if I lost his paperwork, but I think I have it in the office, it's just in another file. I have a couple of files that are called bylaw. Anyway, one of the other things that I know Paul and I was, well, maybe we'll wait for Jim.
Did you find it?
No.
Okay,
I got it in another folder somewhere, I'm sorry.
Okay, I know that one of the items was going to be a charge to file for the local bylaw.
Fees, right.
Fees.
Yep, that's something that could be kept open, or it could, the bylaw language could say something just to the effect that the Conservation Commission shall establish a fee schedule for X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
That way, if we need to revise the fees in the future, you know, whether it's inflation or whatever, for whatever the reason is, if we have a reason that we need to
Okay,
revise
all right.
the fees.
All right, so what did you just say? So the,
Just in general, to the effect that the Conservation Commission shall have the authority to establish a schedule of fees for whatever items you'd like to discuss, whether it's.
For the local bylaw.
Yep.
Okay. Another one was wildlife exit area for vernal pools.
Oh, migratory corridor.
Migratory corridors, thank you. Yes. Migratory
You gotta
corridors
give 'em
for vernal pools.
Give them an avenue to get out.
Now, I don't know if we would put a certain area.
Well, you can't, I don't think you really can, Jim, you wanna get them out. I mean, you know, maybe you got
No, but I don't know if we-
no, maybe you got 300 feet, but if it's bordered by a road, that's not getting them where they need to be. So if we
A
give them
natural undisturbed migratory corridor.
Yeah, and I mean, it can be done, with different, pipes, tunnels, or whatever.
Yeah, okay, but I think that's the way to word it though.
Well, yeah.
A natural undisturbed migratory corridor for vernal pools.
Well, man-made tunnel is an undisturbed natural.
Well, I think we
It can
can,
become-
I think we can do that though, we can say that. This is, you know, this is Dayton, we got enough room, we're not talking, a city which has one little area and they're gonna go to.
No, I mean, it's, when we did the Green Bush communal, when we cleared for that.
Does it work?
I never went back, but they put in corridors everywhere.
You
There's
know?
a big, we did a big job in Norfolk.
Okay.
They had designated areas for different species. They had them for the turtles, they had them for the frogs, they had them for the small mammals. You know?
Okay, so what we can do is just say,
Your public input, Mr. Chairman.
yeah,
Up there, just from here is okay.
I guess he wants you there, so you can speak on the mic. Lisa, was there any, what else did we have? I
I
know
have
those.
something else, I definitely have a couple other things.
I also noted that I'd like to explore making things exempt under the local bylaw that are exempt under the WPA.
Yeah, so minor activities that are in the Wetlands Protection Act as minor activities in the buffer zone, we should also provide for that in the bylaw. And then, one other thing, real quick before I forget to say it. Coordination with other boards, I want Mr. Ferry to get copies of the plans as well when we receive, or notices when we receive them. Because as we know with 418 Hart and Smith Street, he needs to weigh in on sites where the access is gonna need culverts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
In regards to recent discussions with a developer, it may help strengthen the position of the Conservation Commission and the town of Dayton should it go to an arbitrator that a migratory corridor bylaw be established. It will be difficult to try to enforce a developer to create a migratory corridor and survive a challenge in court if you don't have a bylaw to support that. Otherwise, it may appear in court, you can check with a lawyer, as arbitrary and capricious.
So we do need that. And if we just say a migratory corridor, then we could determine
Whether it's natural, vegetative.
Yeah, we could determine that in the future.
Yes.
Thank you.
The only thing, I don't think we can really go back.
No, we can't go past.
Projects that are approved, I don't think we can go back.
That project wasn't approved.
No,
Yeah, no, anything going forward, it's,
Boy, that's right, we can't go back. That's grandfathered, we're gonna call it. All right, I know there were a few other things, because I had about 3 or 4, and Lisa had probably as many. Now, Lisa, this wouldn't really go on until, what, the spring?
No.
That's before, November.
November, okay. And we have to get this together, and we have to have a reading here, Lenny?
Right.
We have to have a reading of what we're going to put on the town warrant.
Right, yeah, they're public.
Yep, so we as a commission would put it on the agenda, propose a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen to put the following amendment on the special town meeting warrant.
Yeah, or amendments,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Then we will
Okay,
vote.
all right, so we're gonna have to do that, Lisa, within the next few weeks, I guess. And I know May is gonna be tough for both of us.
I can't really take anything else on in May.
We
Does it
can
have to be in May?
We can continue it as a discussion
Yeah.
up until we hold the final vote. We can do the final
Yeah.
vote for early September.
Right.
Yes.
The special town meeting warrant probably won't be open until October 20.
Okay, so-
Right.
Yeah, so we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, so we'll just add it to next month's agenda for
Yeah.
discussion as well. We'll keep having it on the agenda. And then when we get to a point where we want to outline them, we should probably outline them on the agenda. Is that what you think? You know, outline the proposed changes?
That'd be fine.
Okay. My husband said that, before I forget, I already told a couple of you, but my husband's having hip replacement May 7th, or at least he's supposed to. The doctor's in Europe right now, and he might be changing it to cartilage. He's having some sort of hip surgery. He might be having cartilage in surgery.
Oh, I'm good at that.
Just let us know when you know.
It's May 7th, so, right, that first week, you know, that week. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Going on, a Conservation Commission letter, wait a minute, draft peer review policy issued by Weston and Sampson.
I
Okay.
believe Lisa asked if somebody would be willing to read this for the record, is that right, Lisa?
Yeah, someone would
If you'd like, I'd be happy to, because I did edit in some comments.
Okay.
So what I can do, Mr. Chairman, if you're agreeable, is I can read through it, and then I will just state when my comments begin and end, so I'll read through and then begin and comment and comment. So role of the Stormwater Committee, Conservation Commission, and Planning Board in stormwater-related permitting, draft, March 5th, 2024. Indictment, stormwater permitting is generally led to the Stormwater Committee. However, this creates a potential overlap with the Conservation Commission. It is also important to coordinate stormwater reviews with applicable Planning Board and Zoning Board processes. Under the Wetland Protection Act, WPA, the Conservation Commission is required to review changes to stormwater that might result from a proposed project. Per the WPA, local conservation commissions must retain the primacy of local permitting that pertains to wetlands. This includes management of stormwater in WPA jurisdiction. The Planning Board and the Zoning Board also regulate projects that often involve stormwater management. Ideally, the Conservation Commission, Zoning Board, and the Planning Board would have parallel processes to simplify reviews and clarify the permitting path for applicants. Below, a permitting and policy approach is proposed that is intended to minimize regulatory conflict and simplify the permitting process. Permitting primacy, i.e. permitting lead programming. The Conservation Commission will accept applications and issue permits for projects requiring stormwater management under the WPA. The Planning Board will accept applications and issue permits for projects requiring stormwater management under the Planning Board's jurisdiction. The Zoning Board will accept applications and issue permits for projects requiring stormwater management under the Zoning Board's jurisdiction. The Stormwater Committee will accept applications and issue permits for projects requiring stormwater management when stormwater is not being permitted through the Conservation Commission, Zoning Board, or Planning Board. It is recognized that the regulatory authority of the Stormwater Committee emanates from its own enabling authority, including the town's general bylaws, and that the Stormwater Committee may set standards that differ from the standards of the Conservation Commission, Zoning Board, or the Planning Board. However, this shall not interfere with the Conservation Commission, or the Zoning Board's, or the Planning Board's authority to grant or deny permits. Begin comment. How is this reconciled with General Town Bylaw 28, the Stormwater Bylaw, Section 4.0, which reads, the Board of Health shall administer, implement, and enforce this bylaw. The Board of Health may delegate any powers granted to or duties imposed upon the Board of Health in writing to its employees or agents. If conservation retains primacy and it is effectively the superseding stormwater authority in WPA jurisdiction areas, what about projects that are partially in WPA jurisdiction areas and partially outside of them? Is there an invisible line where the stormwater requirements change? End comments. The report goes on to detail the advisory role of the Stormwater Committee in such circumstances. The Conservation Commission, the Zoning Board, and the Planning Board shall seek the advice of the Stormwater Committee on all project applications requiring stormwater management. No such application shall be permitted without first seeking the Stormwater Committee's advice. To ensure timeliness, the Stormwater Committee will make all reasonable efforts to issue the requested advice within 30 calendar days from the time of receiving such a request for advice. Begin comment. Could this be better clarified? Does this mean an applicant will file, the permitting body will seek advice from the Stormwater Committee, then deliberate based on the advice once it is received, depending on the timeline of when the advice is given? The permitting body may not have the advice in time for its next meeting, or the advice may be of such a nature that the permitting body may need another meeting to digest the information. This could, in effect, add several months to what is already a lengthy and expensive process. Also, in the case of conservation, will the advice be based on the WPA? This does not seem to concretely address the issue of differing stormwater requirements between various permitting bodies. Including the advice as a requirement also seems directly contradictory to the stated goal of allowing permitting bodies to maintain primacy in stormwater decisions regarding projects under their jurisdiction. The clause, no such application shall be permitted without first seeking the Stormwater Committee's advice, is also confusing and potentially in violation of the WPA. Is the permitting body required to follow the advice? Is the advice required to be reflective solely of the stormwater requirements as they pertain to the permitting body? In either case, this may either lead to permitting bodies considering criteria outside the scope of their authority, or for the Stormwater Committee to be required to amend its advice to reflect only the stormwater requirements of the permitting body. We may also run into issues with the 21-day decision window at the close of a public hearing. If an applicant closes their public hearing, CONCOM is required to issue a decision within 21 days. How will we reconcile the requirement to issue a decision within 21 days if we are required to wait for Stormwater Committee advice? If the applicant wishes to close the public hearing, We cannot in good faith issue a denial under the WPA for failure to receive sufficient information to make a decision waiting for non-binding advice the WPA does not require us to seek. This could potentially be enacted as a requirement under the local bylaw, but that may make it applied to local bylaw decisions only, further muddying the waters. If seeking advice is a requirement that compromises the Commission's ability to issue a decision in 21 days, it may vacate any denial we issue, and if it is the latter, if the permitting body is already considering its own governing stormwater requirements, is the advice necessary? This requirement does not address the duplication of work taking place currently regarding stormwater between the various permitting bodies. It also does not reconcile the differences in stormwater requirements between the WPA and the stormwater bylaw. I wholly concur that we need to better align our stormwater requirements, but I do not see how this provision accomplishes that in its current form. End comment. Many Dayton's development and redevelopment projects incorporate stormwater management. The town regulates the stormwater management through the Stormwater Committee, Zoning Board, Planning Board, and Conservation Commission. To ensure their proper function, stormwater systems and management practices need to be inspected and managed. The town has determined that the cost of inspection and management, as required by its regulatory authority, shall be borne by the permittee. The permitting approach discussed below is intended to ensure that the cost of stormwater inspection and management follows the permit applicant. Review of applications. Applications to the Planning Board, Zoning Board, Conservation Commission, and Stormwater Committee shall be reviewed to ensure appropriate stormwater management. The need for stormwater management system inspection immediately prior to, during, and immediately following construction will be determined at the time of permitting and shall be included in the orders of conditions and other permit stipulations. The level of effort, i.e. hours of labor, and approximate cost for stormwater management system inspection immediately prior to, during, and immediately following construction will be opined during permitting review and included in peer review findings. Typical inspections and their frequency. Inspection shall include a pre-construction inspection, quarterly inspections at a minimum during construction, and a post-construction inspection to ensure appropriate site restoration and properly functioning stormwater systems. Additional inspections may be included as needed to ensure proper stormwater management. The inspections may include wet weather inspections, dry weather inspections, excavation, as-built conformance, and other means as determined to be appropriate by the town. Escrow/53G. Permittees shall be required to set aside funding for stormwater system inspections as discussed above under review of applications and typical inspections and their frequency. Funds set aside shall be equal to the opined cost in peer review findings. Escrow shall be set aside prior to the initiation of construction and shall be adjusted for inflation and other market costs as needed. Unused funds shall be returned to the permittee in conformance with MGL Chapter 44, Section 53G. Permittees may be required to replenish funds, provided such a need for additional funds is determined by the applicable permitting authority. That was a mouthful.
If I was a contractor and had to read all that and to say who I needed a permit from, I would say I'm not coming to that. I mean, all of this between conservation, planning board, stormwater management, it's gotta be streamlined to the extent that one permit.
Well, yeah, we have to understand it first before we can try to make anyone else understand it, yeah. Yeah.
As Paul was starting to read, I just jotted one little note down here in the very beginning. Who knows who has what jurisdiction? The people out there don't know who has what jurisdiction.
Who's on first?
Nobody out there knows, so when someone applies and they get an approval from us and it includes stormwater, they're done. No, they're not. They're gonna go to planning board. No, they're not. They're gonna go to stormwater. This is crazy. It's crazy. There's gotta be one application for stormwater. And if it's, it's gotta be written down that if they are applying to conservation, then conservation will deal with stormwater. If it's outside the wetland jurisdictions, then stormwater will take over.
It actually gets even more bizarre, Mr. Chair. Because if you read through the Town of Dayton stormwater bylaws, rules and regulations as revised and approved at special town meeting November 2nd, 2009, it actually goes on to state, which is even more confusing, that the Conservation Commission is in charge of stormwater for all residential development. It states that the planning board is in charge of stormwater for commercial and industrial development. And then it goes on furthermore to say that the Conservation Commission is in charge of stormwater in any filing which is filed under the WPA. So,
And then it doesn't say anything about the Stormwater Commission.
Well, that is the stormwater bylaw, what he just read, but the first thing he read was a memo of under, basically Weston and Sampson drafted it to try to
Streamline.
fix this issue.
right, I think they need to more strongly define what they mean by primacy.
Right.
Because if the Conservation Commission is going to retain primacy over any filing which requires a permit from us, they go on to tether us to being required to seek and receive the advice of the Stormwater Committee, which that could compromise our ability to issue decisions within 21 days. If an applicant wants to close the hearing,
Right.
we can't very well deny them because we say we didn't receive sufficient advice because we didn't get the advice, the non-binding advisory advice of a committee that the Wetland Protection Act does not in any way require us to seek. So how on earth do we reconcile that as a requirement?
We got an issue on Fremont Street and Middle Street that fits into this. Conservation Commission only got jurisdiction way out in the back.
Yep.
Very small parcel.
Very small parcel.
Every time it rains, everybody, what are you doing about Fremont Street?
Nothing. We don't do.
Not doing a thing,
It's not our.
because somebody didn't take care of their part of the project.
So, yeah, so
So, I mean, where's this go? Does this go to the zoning board? Who
at the
approved it?
stormwater committee yesterday, Nancy passed these out. So this brings up the fact that if you are disturbing greater than 1 or more acre, then you need a stormwater permit. And that's something that's a federal requirement, right? Through EPA and the Clean Water Act. Now, Wetlands Protection Act was developed in the Clean Water Act too.
Well, that's all well and good though, Lisa, but conservation, we don't have any control over that.
Right.
First of all, over there,
Well, it is dumping into a stream. That's how we do, but I agree.
that had nothing to do with us. That's poor construction over there.
Now,
And that's not followed up. That's a downhill slope.
Well, see, that's the problem. So
Well-
who is going to enforce those commercial industrial sites that have a problem like that? Because you know what happened with that?
Did that require a zoning change?
I don't think.
I believe it
I'll
did.
ask
I
him.
believe it did. I believe,
On Tremont?
Blue
yeah, isn't that
So-
agricultural and
Yeah, it's agricultural and now industrial.
now industrial?
No, that's a commercial. Isn't solar commercial?
I don't think.
No, it's gonna be industrial. They're producing a product.
Well, we just have our commercial industrial rate is the same. Here's the property classification is probably going to be considered the same as well. But commercial industrial is enforced by the planning board. So under here, and actually, if the project disturbs more than 35,000 square feet, they still may not need a stormwater permit, because there's an exemption right in here. So it says, right in here, under land disturbance and post-construction runoff control, stormwater regulations. No person may undertake a construction activity including clearing, grading, and excavation that results in a land disturbance that will disturb equal to or greater than 35,000 square feet of land, or will disturb less than 35,000 square feet of land as part of a larger common plan of development or sale that will ultimately disturb equal to or greater than 35,000 square feet. However, directly under that are a list of exemptions. One of those exemptions is disturbance of 35,000 square feet or more of land that are subject to jurisdiction under the Wetlands Protection Act and demonstrate compliance with the stormwater management policy as reflected in a valid order of conditions issued by the Conservation Commission.
Yeah,
So to
we
me,
did-
that's
we did issue it.
period end of story.
Yeah, we
The
did. We
Conservation-
issued an order. Yeah.
Way out on the back, Lisa, not on the front.
No, but the project as a whole, we did.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't see.
But that area that was, that's runoff, that is not even near where our wetlands are.
I-
And
go on the other side.
I get it, but Jason called me, and I'm not gonna ignore it. I'm on the stormwater committee too, so how, that's the other incestuous issue here.
Big
Well, I realize where you're coming from, too,
I mean,
Lisa.
right.
But it's like a lot of this stuff, everybody like all passes it off, and no one's all messed up. We're the last ones in line. Okay, and crap runs downhill, and now that
We're
it's all
trying
messed
to
up,
improve it.
now that it's all messed up, everybody wants conservation, what can we do about it? We don't have to do anything about that. I believe whoever permitted that should be over there, whether it was a zoning change, the planning board, or somebody. Stormwater's involved in this.
Right.
And our jurisdiction on that whole project was on the other side of the hill, heading towards William Street.
Yeah, the
Not
planning
coming down
board
here.
did get Weston and Sampson involved after that initial problem was detected, and the stormwater committee did.
So now, Lisa, can I add some additional
Yeah.
information? So is the pop quiz, if somebody wants to clear, say, 40,000 square feet in order to issue a residential, in order to build a single-family residential home, under our stormwater regulations, are they required to get a permit from the stormwater committee?
Yeah.
No. Right here. Land disturbance and post-construction runoff control. Administration. The Dayton Planning Board shall administer, implement, and enforce the section of the regulation as it pertains to commercial and/or industrial development activities. Entirely silent on whether the WPA is involved or not, the Dayton Conservation Commission shall administer, implement, and enforce the section of the regulations as it pertains to residential development activities. Any powers granted to or duties imposed upon the Planning Board and/or the Conservation Commission may be delegated in writing to its employees or agents. Henceforth, the Dayton Planning Board and Conservation Commission shall be referred to as the administering authority of the land disturbance and post-construction runoff control section of these regulations.
Okay, what is the title of this paper?
Stormwater bylaw.
Town of Dayton Stormwater Bylaw Rules and Regulations.
Okay,
A lot of
how
that,
can the
a lot of that,
stormwater,
though, Jim,
how can it,
it says
It's
40,000.
2009.
It says 35,000, I just used 40.
how can the stormwater regulation tell us that we're in charge of something?
That was developed in 2009. I don't know, I left Charlie a message, I wanted to pick his brain, because Charlie has been the one that's been telling the planning board for years, or at least Carrie for years, that the stormwater committee, is doing something that we're already doing.
Yeah, but a lot of that, even at 35,000 square feet, you're just under an acre, and a regular house lot is approximately just under an acre.
Right.
Right.
So, first of all, you're not gonna find too many people that are gonna go in and cut 40,000 square feet to build a house. Because everybody wants to leave the trees when you tell them to cut them down, but they want them left. Now they're in the way to build the house, you know what I mean? But, I think a lot of that was worked around,
Right, so
left on a residential type deal.
right, I have been operating on the assumption that the Stormwater Committee is required to issue a stormwater permit if the total disturbance is 35,000 or more for residential development.
Yeah.
It appears, based on the actual language of the bylaw, that this has just been incorrectly enforced for the last 15 years and nobody noticed it. So I think that we may have discovered a broader issue that has been left out entirely in this Weston and Sampson review. So I think that they should be made aware that the language of the bylaw as it is written is incongruent with the practice of the town. And we need to bring these things into alignment, but that's not going to be possible if the agency that we're engaging to make recommendations is unaware of the actual
Right.
guiding details.
Well,
of the
that's part of
bylaw.
the issue as well, because when Weston and Sampson was drafting that, no one from the stormwater committee or conservation was there. So,
Wait, who is taking charge of simplifying this for prospective?
Mike Mullen.
To be honest, I actually love that we're that we would be the ones administering it for all residential development.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna give us the ability to catch what properties need an NOI before they're built, right? How many houses have we found out 5 years after they're built, that they should have filed because they're in a resource area? If we are the ones who are issuing residential development stormwater permits, as the bylaw says we're supposed to be,
Yeah.
that's gonna give us the first bite at the apple every time somebody wants to build something. And we're gonna be in a way better position to help avoid, mitigate, and restore well ahead of them before a shovel hits the ground.
But, okay, at the same time, look at the next one, Conservation Commission letter to accompany a building permit request to be added to permit link. That's really, so.
So that
The
was-
problem is, Lisa, or we don't know who's getting building permits. But if we know ahead of time, then we know
Wait, we do.
how big the lot is.
We do, we know, I am tagged on building.
Yep, she's
Oh, now you are.
No, but that memo we asked as a sign off,
Yeah.
remember? That memo we drafted from Rockport's example, we submitted to the building commissioner in October.
Yep.
I followed up.
Did he provide some edits on there? I think he was gonna edit the form a little bit.
No.
Or you were gonna edit the form?
No, it was all set, he said
Okay.
it was all set.
Okay.
And then, but now, he told me Tuesday that he actually realized with permit link, he can't get it on because it's not a state form, he goes by the state forms. But he can, he thinks, maybe put it on the front page. I said, whatever we can do.
Wherever we can
Now,
get
he is who, Matt?
No, Mr. Aguirre, the building commissioner.
Okay.
He's responsible for administering the building permit on the
Right.
portal.
So, but every applicant must know that we.
Check that box,
Check that box, and before they.
that they've read it.
That they've read it and that they might have to come to us, or that you know, and you can look it up on the computer, what kind of soils that area has.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm aware, that's the thing, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying, you have to be aware. That's why that permit link is.
Right.
But the other,
And I love this concept
Yeah.
about stormwater, us
Right.
administering stormwater, because that's gonna give us the very first bite at the apple every time.
You know,
there's also the issue, if it doesn't go that way, then it's, I think, all the other boards, from my professional opinion, from looking at this and how things operate in town, I feel like every other board, not just me and you, not just me, you and the chief and the building commissioner, we all need to be on permit link in order for us all to be transparent, to know exactly what's going on. Because if someone calls me and says, what's going on the street, I have no idea sometimes.
when someone files an NOI or an NRAD, do you put it on permit link?
No, but that's something we need to talk about. What I do is, I have them send it out to the other boards, according to our bylaw. They have to send out electronic, selectmen, Board of Health, Planning Board, and the Building Commissioner. So, but I also think that the Tom Ferry, DPW, should be one of the ones that's notified, like I was saying, so. Yes, that's an electronic way of doing it, that way having them send it out on the applicant. But if it was all on Permit Link and they actually applied on Permit Link, that would be even better, because it would all be there. And I think that's where we need to head, we really need to head that way. Right now, we're ahead of some of the other departments by even being on there, but I think we need to actually have our applications on. I would like to have our applications on there, but I need someone to help me. I can't do this based.
Oh, I can do it.
How about next week, you wanna set up a call with Permit Link and see what the cost would be
Yeah,
in order for us to,
yeah,
to
but
build
I mean,
that
I
out?
need I feel like I need administrative help.
I know a little bit about Permit Link, I use it all the time. And, I'll say that Nancy in the building department put me through a great little mini class that she taught me at her
Me
desk.
too.
So she gave me a lot of great information, and she's a fantastic resource.
Okay,
And,
yeah, let's try to set something up.
yeah, I can't imagine she would be perfectly happy to help us.
Yeah, that'll be good. All right, so that's one issue. But I don't know, we're not gonna solve the stormwater issue. I think there needs to be like a workshop all the committees together
Oh,
to
yeah.
work this out.
I just wondered that we're in charge of the residential portion about 90 minutes ago.
I think that's kind of a good thing.
I think it's a great thing.
So for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Okay.
You say that.
Do we have anything else,
We're under it, you know what I mean, square footage wise,
Yeah.
we're under it.
But, you know, but the other issue is, you know, you get a site that's not, right, doesn't fall under the Wetlands Protection Act, there's no isolated areas, doesn't fall under the bylaw, but then it does fall under the, stormwater regs. Then now we are regulating more than our authority.
But if someone doesn't apply to us,
How am I gonna know?
that's right. If they don't apply, they don't do an NOI or an NRAD,
They're just going for a Form A, say for example, they're just
Yeah.
going to the planning board for a Form A lot, right?
So that would be an issue where the planning board could be brought under permit link. They could task you
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
Especially if we're gonna be in charge, you know, if we decide that we're gonna follow the bylaw.
absolutely.
So you will be able to know from the Form A what
Yeah.
what the total disturbance is gonna
Right.
be, and then you'll be in a position to put a hold, add a comment, add a note, this is gonna
Because
require. a stormwater
absolutely,
permit.
some sites are just on a steep slope, but
Right.
it might not be near a
So
wetland,
if
you know
we
what I mean?
were-
And they need some erosion controls.
So if we were at Hart Street, we would be in charge of everybody all the way to the top of that hill and not just the trench going in front.
Absolutely.
And that seems like it's gotta be in line with the spirit of why they did that, because it makes no sense that this half of the project that's in a resource area has one set of stormwater requirements, and then you go into this part that's in the planning board jurisdiction, and it's got another side, and then you go into this area that's a different part that's not under the jurisdiction of the planning board or the Concom, and that's got its own whole permitting body. So like, how many cooks can you fit in one kitchen?
Yep.
I know, gosh, I've been in the kitchen, and I don't wanna be in the
Right,
kitchen
there
with
you
more
go.
than one cook, let me tell you.
Especially if it's a few.
Anyway.
Few apprentices.
Okay. Was it, okay, we did permit link, we did, I think we did everything that was on here.
Over at 10 and it shuts down.
Okay.
We got 10 minutes.
Okay, well, I think we're all set anyway. We looking for adjournment.
Wait, did we do everything? We went through everything?
I believe we.
Oh,
What about the perk test?
Oh, the perk test.
I don't have a memo, but I will tell you an experience I had, so. Paul and I actually, sat down with, the building commissioner, Mike Mullen, at a PAC meeting in Serena, because we realized that there needs to be some changes that, according to the Board of Health, they want to change the way things are going with perks, okay? So that leads us to the question of, maybe we need to change our regs when it comes to perks too.
Well, that bylaw change we were discussing that could allow us to establish a schedule of fees, the perk test review fee is something that we could use from that authority if we were to have a bylaw change that was special. And then we could go in and establish a schedule of fees and perk review.
Great.
Okay, so.
But I
how
had
we're
a
gonna-
situation this week where, I'm only now reviewing perks for new construction. However, so.
It fell off.
We burp up the mic and just get distortion through here.
Oh, I was just putting the thing back on.
Sorry, but.
All right, so, anyways, there were perks, that were proposed for new construction on this, as well as a repair. And the engineering firm told me, oh, we're going out Thursday anyway to do the perks, on the new system, and we'll be out there for both sets. And I said, really, both sets? Because you're not supposed to be doing the perks on the new construction without my sign off, and right now you have an AMRAD for us. She said, well, what can we do? I said, well, instead of having you cancel it at this point, can you mark up the plan
where you want to perk, both sets. So they did. One set happened to be in the tree line, adjacent, actually within 100 feet of a vernal pool that was not flagged for this same site. And then one set was in the woods over here. And then I realized, you know, why are we going to allow a park? There's all this grassed lawn area. We shouldn't be allowing a perk on a repair in a 100-foot or 200-foot buffer zone to a vernal pool if we can avoid it. So I believe we really should be still reviewing perks for repairs. That's I don't like that authority was taken away from me recently, and I feel like we need some sort of a memo. We also need a memo that talks about how we're going to deal with the fees and the new procedures. But so that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about as far as that.
Could you put your thoughts into an email and then send it to us
Yes.
afterwards?
Yeah.
There's a lot that I'd like to discuss, but we've got about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then this week, we're gonna have a lot to sign, a lot of paperwork to sign, an enforcement order, a couple other things.
As long as I can, well, you might not have the orders this week, but we definitely have a lot.
Okay.
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman, I'd like to propose a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.